Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. That's why we're here. We're back. This is Dear Woke Christian. I thank you so much for hanging out with me on today. We got a lot to talk about. So let's jump into it and let's have some fun. So last week there was a little bit of news last week, especially here in Atlanta, especially here in Fulton County, Georgia. There was a little bit of news going on, and we talked about it several times throughout the week. We were hoping and expecting for a response from the judge, and he did, in fact, give a response. It wasn't what most of us thought it would be. And for the most part, I think the overall tenor was that, this was not what the people, pro-Fani Willis people thought, wasn't even what they thought it was going to be. Even though I thought it was kind of like a W for them, but we're going to talk about it in a moment. They saw it as a defeat more than most other people did. But today, what I wanted to do was take a second. There's a couple of good clips that I pulled from news segments here and abroad that were looking at this case, as well as a couple other very smart legal minds. I want to give a shout out to Viva Fry, as well as the lead attorney. But then also there was a complaint written to the Georgia Bar Association about the process, or rather why, making the case for why Fani Willis should be disbarred. It's a very compelling case. Now, I'm going to talk about that one in a moment as well. But before we get too far afield, thank you all to the best live chat in the whole entire galaxy is right here. Thank you to each and every one of y'all for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. It does not go over my head that you take the time to stop by this channel, whether it be long-term or short-term, whether you're a day one or you're just today, it doesn't matter. You are part of the best live chat on the block, and I thank you all for that. Your time, your effort, your attention means a lot to me that you would come and hang out with me. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much, so very much. Shout out to all of you. I see my good friend and brother in the Lord, Chris K-Dub, in the building. Good to see him. If you don't mind, if the moderators could drop a couple of links in here, I definitely would love people to go check out what Chris is doing on his channel. Would love for y'all to go check out his projects there as well. Good to see my good friend from another California human in the building, CA human in the building. Always good to see you. Good to see you, DD. Always great to see y'all. There we go. God's fancy girl in the building. Hey, thank you so much. And by the way, I always like to encourage you all, especially when we do these Sunday shows, like, hey, what did your pastor preach on this past Sunday or this Lord's Day? What did your pastor preach on? Pastor Joel preached on the importance of us being mindful and remembering that God is our source. And boy, don't we need that now? Talking about why there's no reason to be anxious or doubting or worrying or fearing and needing all this stuff, because the person that the stuff comes from is the Lord. It was such an encouraging message, and I really wanted to encourage you all with that. I'm gonna leave the link to that in the description before this video is over. But also, let me also say that in the description to this video right now is the link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. I put all of the clips for the disbarment. All of the clips that I found for the argument to disbar Fani Willis in a Google Doc, and it's right there on my Buy Me a Coffee page. You can go check it out. It's free, of course, no cost, as well as the links to the lead attorney, and I think Viva Fry is on there as well, and I'll make sure it's updated when the show is over with. Go check it out. I'm going to go through several pieces of that article, but there's a reason why I'm not going to go through every piece of it, because it was a lot. And it was a lot. It was a very well-written, well-thought-out argument, but I do have something for you. What's going on? There we go. There we go. We watch YouTube channels is in the building. Good to see you. Grace and peace. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. Y'all need as the peach turns. 1 second, please.
Where politics and justice intertwine, a storm is brewing. Welcome to As the Peach Turns. Fani Willis, once a rising legal star, now finds herself at the center of a legal firestorm. Accusations of misconduct and ethical breaches have cast a shadow over her career. As the investigation intensifies, the stakes couldn't be higher. Join us as we unravel the tangled web of power, ambition, and justice in this episode of As the Peach Turns.
Shout out to We Watch YouTube. They produced that video for us. Excellent job. Now, I've already gotten requests. We watch YouTube that maybe we need to do a season 2 because this technically season 1 is over with. And now we're going into season 2 of As the Peach Rots. So I don't know if you got time. I don't know if you got attention to it, but maybe we might need another video soap opera trailer for sure. What's going on? What's going on? Willie Doc in the building. There we go. Grace and peace, friend. Good to see you. Thank you all so much for stopping by on this evening. Griff MG in the building. Absolutely. As the peach turns, as the peach rots, however we want to say it, I think all of them are appropriate. All of them are appropriate for sure. So as we've been talking throughout this week, I am really fascinated by this whole discussion, this entire discussion about what's going on in Fulton County. I will admit, because I live here in Georgia, it is a little bit more, it means a little bit more to me than just anybody else. I'm like, yo, this is right down the street. Matter of fact, they mentioned stuff that I'm familiar with. In many of these cases, I'm familiar with these things. So that's kind of cool that I live here in the city and it's such a galvanizing point here, right here in Georgia. It is kind of sad, however, that Georgia's being made a fool of, on the same note, though, because Georgia, good gracious, this is not a good look for us here in the Peach State at all. But it is what it is. I'm finding it interesting because, one, I think the legal discussion is just such a fascinating concept to me, how we can see. I think we all saw something in that disbarment, in that disqualification hearing. But what Judge McAfee came back with had us kind of scratching our head like, sir, what did you see? It was so interesting. So anyway, and hearing different attorneys and legal minds and smart people, because my name is Jason and I have a pre-K law school degree, okay? I've never been to law school, have no intention of going to law school. I'm just interested in it, okay? My bona fides is that I've watched a lot of episodes of Law and Order Special Victim Unit. Okay, that's all I got. And Suits. I've watched a lot of Suits, okay? That's all I got. But I'm finding it really interesting because as this case right here, so many people see it differently. And of course, you know what the decision was that Judge McAfee brought back on Friday. The decision was basically Nathan Wade needs to go. Fani, you can stay and continue with the case. That's a quick summary of it. I'm actually going to bring Nate the lawyer in, and he's going to explain it a little bit better to us. But a lot of us left from there hearing what he said and felt like, yo, that was not a good decision. And it's just interesting to me because this is from both sides of the aisle. People that were maybe against Fani as well as people that were for Fani. They see the errors in this. They see the problem with this. And I think it goes to show just how we can all see the situation differently based upon our ideology, based upon our perspectives, our worldviews, whatever. It's very interesting. But before we get too far afield, I want to bring Nate in. We're going to listen to Nate the lawyer kind of explain, give you an overall, a high 30,000 foot view on the case. So let's go ahead. Nate the lawyer in the building. Let's go.
Okay, so let's talk about the ruling in the Fani Willis disqualification hearing. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a clean understanding of what happened in this particular case. So let's start with how we got here. Attorney Ashley Merchant filed a motion to disqualify District Attorney Fani Willis from the Michael Roman prosecution in the Trump RICO case down in Georgia. Now, the allegations in the document were simple, that Fani Willis, the sitting DA, was having a sexual relationship with Nathan Wade, and that relationship had benefits to Fani Willis. For instance, she was going on these elaborate trips and cruises with Nathan Wade, who was her boyfriend. Now, Trump's team got all of this information from a man named Terrence Bradley. Now, Terrence Bradley, who was Nathan Wade's law partner and attorney in his divorce case, texted Ashley Merchant and told her everything. Told her that Nathan Wade and Fani Willis had a relationship, that they were sleeping together, and that this relationship had been going on since 2018 or 2019. So Fani Willis and Nathan Wade in response said that yes, they did have a relationship, and yes, they did go on all these trips, but
okay, I want to stop Nate. I want to disagree with Nate right here. Fani Willis initially said that they did not have a relationship. She initially did not acknowledge it. She kind of skirted around it after being shellacked by Ashley. Only then did she actually fess up and say, yeah, we had a relationship, but it didn't matter, this, that, and the third. But they weren't initially honest about it. And I think that's something I just want to point that out. They were deliberately deceptive. And even when pressed about it, they didn't come clean until they really got pressed about it. But let's continue.
Didn't cheat on his wife during the marriage. This was a lie because at the time he was cheating on his wife with Fani Willis. The court stated that Wade's patently unpersuasive explanation for the inaccurate interrogatories he submitted in his pending divorce indicates a willingness on his part to wrongly conceal his relationship with the district attorney. Then the court turned to whether the relationship started before Wade was hired or after Wade was hired to be special prosecutor. Now, remember, this was a big issue because Wade and Willis said that the relationship started in 2022 after Wade was hired at the district attorney's office. But the defendants claimed that the relationship started back in 2019, essentially 2 years before Wade was hired at the district attorney's office. So now to prove this, the defendants put on 2 witnesses and cell phone evidence to prove that it was more likely than not that Wade and Willis were lying about when the relationship started. First, the defense brought up Terrence Bradley, who was Wade's former law partner and his former defense attorney. Now, when it comes to Terrence Bradley, he had told Ashley Merchant that the relationship started earlier. He actually showed Ashley Merchant where to find evidence corroborating that the relationship started earlier than 2021. So Terrence Bradley had all this information and was conveying it to Trump's team. But on the stand, Terrence Bradley said that he was actually making it up and speculating and did not know when the relationship actually started. Now, this was obviously contradicted by his own text messages to Ashley Merchant that said the opposite. The court stated that the court finds itself unable to place any stock in the testimony of Terrence Bradley because he was essentially a liar. But Terrence Bradley wasn't the defendant's only witness. You also had Robin Yurdy. Now, she testified that when Fani Willis lived with her back in 2019, that her and Wade were dating at that time. The court said that Robin Yurdy's testimony lacked context and detail, and he dismissed it outright.
Okay, I do want to disagree again. I disagree with Judge McAfee big time here. I just thought about it. How much, like, if you've had a roommate after college, somebody live with you, they're a college roommate that maybe you both are trying to start business, getting business or whatever like that. Somebody's down bad and you let them move in. Generally speaking, for the most part, you don't just have a roommate because you have nothing better to do, especially when we're 40 plus years old. And I was thinking about, I was like, this, 2 Chainz, Yurty, she let Fani move in with her or move into her place because she had extra a condo or whatever like that. I don't know if she was renting it out or whatnot. It seemed like there was a decent relationship between them. For them to try to turn it into something that it wasn't and say, oh, well, there was no context. Like, no, like that was just such a weird take. And I'd really, again, very disappointed in Judge McAfee on that. But it is what it is. Let's go.
Then addressed the cell phone data of 12,000 calls and text messages before Wade was hired at the DA's office. And the judge addressed the GPS data that showed Wade traveling to Willis's home at 12 a.m. and leaving at 4 a.m. The court stated that, quote, neither side was able to conclusively establish by a preponderance of the evidence when the relationship evolved into a romantic one. Now, for you law nerds out there, a preponderance of the evidence simply means that it's more likely than not. So after seemingly dismissing all of the evidence, the judge then concluded that there was still an appearance of impropriety as long as Wade stayed on the case. So to remedy that, the judge gave the district attorney's office 2 options. 1, the district attorney may step aside along with the whole of her office and refer the prosecution to the prosecuting attorney's counsel for reassignment. Or 2, Wade could withdraw, allowing the district attorney, the defendants, and the public to move forward without his presence. So after this ruling came out, Nathan Wade then resigned as special counsel for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
As we have been expecting all after.
Okay, so I just want to, I understand that. And I think somebody made a point right here that, there we go, right here. McAfee could not throw her out. Every person that she's ever prosecuted would file an appeal. I could totally get that. And again, I'm a pre-K law student, but they've been doing that already. I've been kind of putting my eyes on this YSL case. That thing is a living dumpster fire, an absolute dumpster fire. And they're getting appeals already. I mean, please understand, her recklessness, I don't think, if he had thrown her out, I don't think it would have necessarily meant that there would have been like that many more appeals than there already are appeals. Because please keep in mind, she perjured herself on the stand. But let's go.
Since Judge Scott McAfee issued his ruling regarding District Attorney Fani Willis and her ability to stay on the case prosecuting Donald Trump and his co-defendants for trying to overturn the 2020 election, we've just learned that Nathan Wade, the lead prosecutor in that case, has stepped down after this scathing ruling by Judge McAfee, and we've obtained a copy of the letter that Wade wrote to District Attorney Fani Willis tending his resignation. The very first sentence, quote, "The furtherance of the rule of law and democracy is and has always been the North Star of our combined efforts in this prosecution." Clearly here, Wade taking the step of resigning in part because he had no other choice.
DA Fani Willis then accepted his resignation.
And we also have a response from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis officially accepting the resignation letter. She says she accepted it immediately. She also wrote some pretty high praise for Nathan Wade in her letter accepting the resignation. She wrote that she will always remember and remind everyone, and I'm quoting here, this is Fani Willis speaking, or rather writing in her letter accepting the resignation. She said, Nathan Wade was brave enough to step forward and take on the investigation and prosecution of the allegations that the defendants in this case engaged in a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 presidential election. So she's accepting the resignation letter. She's also released her response to it, sharing a good deal of praise for the performance, in her view, of her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade.
So now, at the end of the day, what do you think? Do you think the judge got it right? Do you think the judge got it wrong? I'm leaving you with the facts and let you come up with the opinion. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Thanks, Nate. All right. I appreciate Nate because he gives a really good summary. He called himself like the review lawyer. Like he's really good at reviewing the case and giving you like all the background and bring you up to speed. I agree. I love that guy. He's got a fantastic way of approaching the topic, and I love it. This is the thing I think is funny. You do realize that Fani Willis did a deep search for a special prosecutor. And by deep search, I mean she looked to the left, and then she looked to the right, and then she picked her boyfriend. She literally asked a former governor of Georgia and another man. That was it. And then she tapped her boo. That wasn't a deep search. And we're going to know exactly how much of a search she does when we find the next special prosecutor that she selects to handle this case. She's going to probably get him from Wyoming or Vermont or somebody like that. And immediately, I already told you, I'm going to ask, why didn't you do that before? Before you got the man that you were deliberately and intentionally sleeping with, why did you not go with him, somebody in Wyoming before? It would have just made more sense, of course. But it is what it is. Yo, what's going on? Richard Contra in the building. So this is Contra Talk with Richard, another great YouTuber, makes great and excellent content. I already see that Susie has already dropped his link in the chat. If you could, stop by and check out what Richard's doing over there on his channel. He's talking about currently different ideas and different understandings of what's called soteriology, the study of Christ. It's very interesting, super great content, as well as a great brother. So good to see you, Richard. Thank you for stopping by today. Good to see you, man. All right. I want to know what you all think, though. What do you all think about so far? Because I am going to talk about the complaint in a second as well. I do have the lead attorney's video where he goes over it. We'll go through that. I also have an interview with the person that wrote the disbarment agreement. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we get all that far, what do you think about the case as of up to Friday? What do you think about it? And up to Nathan Wade resigning. What do you think about it? It's so gross. I agree. I totally agree. All right. PA said, yo, I didn't even think about that, and I apologize. I was not intending to set that up, but here we are. I mean, this is what we do in pre-K law school. We do that sometimes. All right. Thank you so much, Kim, for checking out Richard over there. Appreciate you. But yeah, what do you think about it? I disagree with the way that Judge McAfee, what many people said, split the baby. I totally disagree with that because I think that there was enough evidence to make a right decision. Now, that being the case, sure, there would have been fallout. Sure, he might have lost his election. He gonna probably still lose that election. Let's just call a spade a spade. I doubt highly that was something that bolstered his case to win his election. Let's just give it up. He's probably going to still lose that in May, but we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But sure, it might have precipitated some other people filing for appeals, but it would have at least put in the minds of the people that the Fulton County, at least the Fulton County Superior Court, is not unjust. They can see the same thing we see. They can hear the same evidence that we hear, and they can make the same judgment that makes sense, and not try to wiggle out and say that because Yurti said that she saw them in a relationship in 2019, that it lacked context. Sure, we knew that Terrence Bradley was lying. Absolutely, he sat on that stand and lied. But why did you think he lied in his text messages? And the bad thing is, in the appeal, all that other supporting evidence is going to come flooding in like a raging storm. So all of the other supporting documents, all the other supporting voices and witnesses are going to come in, and it's only going to make McAfee look worse, in my opinion. And actually, there are other people who also feel that way, and they actually support Fani. So it's not just a anti-Fani conglomeration or mix-up. It's people that support Fani are saying, yo, this is not a good look. Now, because again, if Nate, and many people have said this, if Nathan Wade needed to go, what did Nathan Wade do that Fani did not do? The poor billing, Fani signed off on it. The block billing, Fani signed off on it. The shenanigans about I paid him back in cash, Fani was a part of that. All of that was part of him. The lack of experience, Fani selected him. The fact that you're sleeping with the man that doesn't have any experience, that's taking you on dates, that you're paying exorbitant amounts of money, that's Fani. So why did Nate have to go? As I told y'all on Friday, I want Nate brought back. I'm a black man for Wade. I want Nate brought back because Nate had no reason to be kicked off. There's no reason. If you keep Fani, then you didn't need to get rid of Wade. If you keep Wade, then you got to keep Fani. I mean, they are tied together. I don't understand. I don't understand it. But I want to hear what y'all think about it. Can you do me one quick favor, though? Can you help a guy out? I would love to see this video hit 160 likes. If you could, please help me out. I just need 6 more likes. If you could. And even if you don't like the video, you don't like this content, you don't find value in it, hit the like button 3 times. I promise you, it still does the exact same thing. Sort of, trust me, I'm a professional. But yeah, I love to hear what you all think about it. So, I see my sister April in the building. Y'all, April Chapman in the house. The judge was a coward, she says. Absolutely. April Chapman does fantastic Christian content. If you could go by and check her out, I promise you're going to just don't stay over there. Just make sure you come on back over here because we got a lot to talk about. But April does a great job over there. I would love for you to check out what she's doing. She's doing a great Bible study on Saturday with young ladies, as well as just high tier, high value content. Shout out to April. Good to see you, sister. Always. And shout out for the thumbs down. I appreciate you. I do. I love it, man. Yeah, there we go right here. I actually got a radio article, not radio, a TV spot that kind of explains that. Absolutely. He said the runner up against McAfee is going to use the failure against him. Absolutely. And you kind of hear it. Let me tell you this. You kind of hear it if you go back and watch. And I didn't bring it up today. I apologize. I didn't have it ready. But there's they interviewed the gentleman that's running against McAfee. And the guy sings high praises for McAfee. He's got nothing but love for McAfee. He's like, yo, the guy is a great guy. I just think I could do the job better. Now, if you go back and listen to the radio spot when McAfee did his radio interview, he has nothing bad to say about the guy either. Nothing at all. And the reason I bring that up is because it seems like it's almost like a net zero effect. So I'm thinking they're presenting it to Fulton County like, hey, getting rid of McAfee is not a big deal, or keeping McAfee is not a big deal. And they're just kind of showing like there's no big deal. So now it's going to be an optics war. of who do you want to represent Fulton County better than the other one. That's it. Because they're both singing each other's praises. Like, oh, that guy's great. I've seen him in the halls. He sings solid. Oh, that man's doing a great job. Blah, blah, blah. They're not actually, there's not a difference. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is set it up in a way that you'll say, it doesn't matter. Let me go and vote for this other guy. I want to try somebody new. Absolutely, man. We watch. Absolutely. McAfee is trying to keep his hands clean, keeping it political. I agree, but I just don't. I hate it because I don't think he's going to get the result that he wanted. I just don't think so. It is going to be a tsunami. The evidence that comes in, and wait till you hear the left. Those people that support Fani, those people that wanted Fani to stay in, listen to how they are worried. They are scared about this outcome. It is not what they wanted. They did not want him to split the baby. They literally wanted him to keep the whole camp. And the fact that he did split the baby does cause them some consternation. And I think it goes to show, like, hey, this is a very interesting case. And the way that we all see it, that's the part I find fascinating. Like, there's so many different ways to see it. And though I think McAfee got it wrong, my name is Jason, and I think McAfee was wrong about the way that he approached it. There was just too much evidence that he's skipping over, in my opinion. However, I'm willing to be like, hey, it is what it is now. But it didn't net the loss that I think people thought it would. And we'll see about that in a moment. Because I've said it before, there's no way in the world this case is going to go to court before 2025. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. The YSL case that's here in Atlanta, Georgia, the street gang young thug case, I didn't realize it, but it took them 1 year. It took them 12 months, 365 days to select a jury in that case. So that case is, and there's a RICO, and it has all of the complexities of a RICO charge case, all that. And it took them a year to select a jury. They don't even have a jury for this case yet. They haven't even started yet. Do you think it is even possible that they're going to be able to panel a jury before November? November 2026, maybe, but not November 24. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen at all. Not even a little bit. All right. He did condemn her church speech, her behavior in court, her inability to draw up charges properly, and call investigation by 6 agencies. I agree. Those are reasons why I think he should have thrown her out on her ear. I don't get it. Nate just proved, Nate had to, because black men are disposable. That's why I am a black man for Wade. I want Wade brought back in. There's no reason for him to be gone. And I'm going to go all woke and say the white man was oppressing the black woman to kick out her black man. I will use all the platitudes because that is wrong. I'm sorry. This is wrong. But it's a clown show. Let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. It's a complete and utter dumpster fire. It is what it is. All right, y'all, thank y'all so much, man. Lots of good commentary, lots of good back and forth. I love the family reunion going on down in the chat. Y'all are great. Thank y'all so much. All right, so let's get at this. Let's look at it. Okay. Now, many of you, man, y'all love this Megyn Kelly. And you know what? I kind of like her. I like Megyn. And y'all like the fact that she had Alan Dershowitz on there. And Alan Dershowitz, the day before the decision, Alan Dershowitz called it. He said, like, literally, he said exactly what happened. So let's just go ahead. Let's let Alan, end zone dance, because I think it's interesting. Let's go.
He downplayed everything that would have led to the actual conflict of interest finding. If it was going to lead him there, he just continued to downplay it. I'll give you a couple of examples. He talked about how she brought in Wade, that she had extended an offer to former Governor Roy Barnes, who declined, that the contract gave him $250 an hour, relatively low amount by Metro Atlanta standards for an attorney with Wade's years of service. No evidence was introduced that indicates Wade ever received permission to exceed his monthly hour caps. Okay, you could.
Okay, and again, I don't get what Judge McAfee saw. And I'm going to, again, down in the description of this video is the link for the whole disbarment memo that was written. And the gentleman goes through and explains it pretty clearly that Nathan was wrong. He was given a cap and he violated the cap wholesale every time he requested to be paid, and Fani Willis signed off on it. It is crazy. Now, also the lead attorney, man, he did a magnificent job. Him and AV to the seventh power did a magnificent job going over this article. The problem is it's almost 3.5 hours long, okay? And I know y'all love Dear Woke Christian, but my goodness in the morning, it was long, okay? But we are going to go over a little bit of it, but I left the link in the description as well because they went over it masterfully because they're attorneys and a law student, and they understand this way more than me. And we'll unpack that in a moment. But I feel like Judge McAfee just took evidence and just kind of threw it away. Like it was very clear because this gentleman in the disbarment agreement explained that. And I was like, I thought that they explained that Nate went above his hourly cap. But it is what it is. Let's bring this back. All right, y'all, let's listen to Megan. I promise not to talk all day.
Focus on that, or you could focus on the fact that every single one of his bills was rubber stamped by Fani Willis with zero review and paid without question, even though some of them looked very sketchy, like billing 24 hours in a day. So he focused on, okay, well, I didn't see any evidence showing he went over the monthly cap. Well, that shouldn't determine this. Then he went on to talk about their travels together. Between October and May of 23, they traveled together on 4 occasions: Miami, Aruba, all the trips, Belize, and so on, Napa. And he shows you what Wade paid, including their numerous day trips around the Georgia area. And he says, in total, defendants point to an aggregate documented benefit of at most $12,000 to $15,000 in the district attorney's favor. Then he says, the DA and Wade testified these expenditures were not meant as gifts and not designed to benefit the DA. Both testified that the DA regularly reimbursed Wade in cash. And if not reimbursed, the DA covered a comparable related expense. For example, she testified she reimbursed him in cash for the Aruba trip, which she estimated cost around $2,000, and that she, quote, gave him money.
And the thing was, I could tell you that I did this all day long. I could tell you that I'm an 8-foot-tall NBA basketball player. Are y'all going to take my word for it? Do you just take my word for that? Like, what do you just take it and run with it? You say, oh, Jason said it. It must be so. And there we go. But you know what? I think it also lends itself to the sloppy bookkeeping that Fani Willis has. The fact that she doesn't have receipts and she has all of these bookkeeping, all of these legal issues as it relates to their writing. It just seems like it goes hand in hand. That makes sense. You don't keep receipts. You let your boyfriend just give you a piece of paper saying, I did work, and you sign off on it and you pay him $30,000. It makes perfect sense. It makes 100% perfect sense. You don't keep records, and then all of a sudden you get 6 of your charges thrown out because they're not well written. Call me surprised. I'm shocked. Beside myself. Shout out for the thumbs up and the thumbs down. If you find value in this, could you please help a guy out? Help me at 300 likes. Help me out. Help me out. And if you don't like it, hit the button 3 times. I promise you, it'll do something. Absolutely. Let's go.
For both cruises. She further claimed she reimbursed him for the entirety of the Belize trip and that she paid for Napa Valley excursions. Finally, while Wade could have bought meals in 2020 totaling more than $100, she would also regularly pay for his meals. Then he says the following, Alan. Such a reimbursement practice may be unusual, and the lack of any documentary corroboration understandably concerning. Yet the testimony, here we go, withstood direct contradiction, was corroborated by other evidence, for example, her payment of airfare for 2 on the 2022 Miami trip, and was not so
You know what? Again, I think the fact that Fani got away with this is really telling. If she paid for the Miami trip, how did she pay for that? I don't know specifically. If you know, let me know. Did she pay with that with the credit card? Or did she pay cash? Because again, I have a friend that works at the airport and says it's not necessarily easy to pay for cash at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. You can, but it's not very easy to do so. Do you want me to believe Fanny, did you want me to believe that you went above and beyond almost an hour and a half early to go to the airport to take cash when you could have just swiped the credit card online? You want me to believe this? Oh, okay. Not a problem. I believe it. I do. Just like I believe that y'all hit that like button. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. Let's go.
Credible as to be inherently unbelievable. However, as the DA herself acknowledged, no ledger exists. Other than a best guesstimate, there's no way to be certain that expenses were split completely evenly. And the DA may well have received a net benefit of several $100. Again, downplaying. Despite this, after considering all the surrounding circumstances, the court finds the evidence did not establish the DA's receipt of a material financial benefit as a result of her decision to hire and engage in a romantic relationship with Wade's. The defendants have not presented sufficient evidence indicating that the expenses were not roughly divided evenly, to your point of who's got the burden, or that the DA was or currently remains greatly and pecuniarily interested in this prosecution.
Look, I don't believe that. And I have to tell you, I don't think the judge believes that. I just think he found that. You know, you
Agreed.
talk about 4 hours a day billing. I remember a lawyer who framed in his office a bill in which he charged for 27 hours in a day because he had traveled internationally and it had changed the time. And, you know, yeah, it's possible. But I have to tell you, no jury would believe that. And a judge should not believe that. She would not. If she had been charged criminally with accepting money, she'd be convicted. There are people in jail on far, far less evidence. And when you know she's lied about when her relationship began, why do you believe her on these issues of undocumented payments? His decision is scandalous. And it's not his naive take, because I think he's smart. I think he just did everything in his power to be able to say to an appellate court, look, I've evaluated all the evidence, it raises questions, but there's not enough here to find that she materially benefited. She materially benefited, probably to the tune of thousands of dollars, and she had an affair that started before she hired him, and she committed perjury on the stand. And when that happens, the prosecutor should be disqualified. This is the wrong decision made for all the wrong reasons.
Wow. He goes on to say, I mean, the opinion is full of criticisms of her and Nathan Wade. So he's trying to telegraph to us what you said, that he knows. He knows what you and I know. He just didn't have the stones to actually do what was right.
Yeah, knowing that these people are lying and actually calling them liars and punishing them in real time, in 4K. Because the other day somebody said that he basically kicked the can down the road. You know what? I have to admit, I feel like he kicked the can all the way down the road and it's just clanging and banging and making a whole bunch of noise. Knowing, like me saying, by the way, I know you lying to me, and me punishing you in real time in 4K for that is totally different. And again, I do think he put a lot of breadcrumbs in there in the decision to let people know, like, yeah, sure, absolutely. But you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Because somebody mentioned it in the chat, and I'm kind of wondering, what if Fani had fired Nathan before the decision came out? What would he have done then? Then it would have just been, actually, I kind of wish he had. That would have made him look even worse. Like, what would have happened? It doesn't make sense, but don't worry.
He says on page 9 of the opinion, again, this is him denying that there's an actual conflict of interest, and so the audience is clear. He then went on to say, but notwithstanding the absence of evidence of an actual conflict of interest, the appearance of a conflict, the appearance of impropriety is enough for me to do something, but it's not enough for me to DQ them. I'm going to give them the opportunity to cure. They have the opportunity to cure their impropriety. And that's how we got to the place where he said, either bounce Wade or bounce yourself. But back on the first point of actual conflict. Without sufficient evidence that the DA acquired a personal stake in the prosecution or that her financial arrangements had any impact on the case, the defendant's claims of an actual conflict must be denied. Then he goes on to add, this finding is by no means an indication that the court condones this tremendous lapse in judgment or the unprofessional manner of the district attorney's testimony during the evidentiary hearing. Rather, it is the undersigned's opinion that Georgia law does not permit the finding of an actual conflict for simply making bad choices, even repeatedly. And it is this trial court's duty to confine itself to the relevant issues and applicable law. And then quickly, Alan, he adds, this is important, and we're going to talk more about this as the hour goes on. Other forums or sources of authority, such as the General Assembly, the Georgia State Ethics Commission, the State Bar of Georgia, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, or the voters of Fulton County, that's 5 at least, may offer feedback on any unanswered questions that linger. But those are not the issues determinative to the defendant's motions alleging an actual conflict. To me, this is him basically saying, I know these are dirtbags. I get it. Trust me. But that's a matter for these 5 other agencies to now pursue and investigate vigorously. For purposes of this case, the farthest I'll go is choose one, Fani or Wade stays.
Yeah, before Dershowitz jumps in, to me, I would absolutely love to speak with a very smart legal mind and help me understand what is the difference between an appearance of something wrong and actually having evidence that you know something was wrong happening. Because I guarantee you, if Judge McAfee was seen walking out of a brothel at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I don't think anybody would immediately jump to the fact that, oh, he must be doing like a pre-law school at the brothel. Oh, he's doing a pre-law school. Or he's having a Bible study, Bibles and brothels, okay? I'm sure that that's what he was doing. Absolutely. No, we would probably feel comfortable in saying that, yeah, walking out of a brothel at 6 o'clock on a Saturday is not a good look for a married man. There's going to be some problems. I don't think we need to know what you were doing in there to say, yeah, there's some problems. The cure for it is what? Washing your robe? Come on, my guy. Like I don't understand it. And I would love, I'm not even trying to be funny. DearWokesy@gmail.com. I would absolutely love to talk with anybody that understands law and wants to just kind of chime in. Not trying to fight, not trying to debate, but I just want to understand so we can all unpack it. If you know Dersh, if you know Phil Holloway, his office is right down the street from my studio, by the way. Shout out to Phil Holloway or whomever. I would love to hear, how does this work? You can do something and we can kind of assume that it's wrong and we can all kind of agree like that doesn't look good. That's not a good look, but we don't have to say that it's bad. I don't get it. Let's finish up, Dersh.
But he left out the most important agencies, and that is prosecutorial agencies. There ought to be a criminal investigation. There ought to be a criminal prosecution. There is, in my mind, proof beyond a reasonable doubt that they committed a perjury. He, in fact, says unprofessionally as a witness. What does that mean? Unprofessionally as a witness. She didn't act disrespectfully or anything like that. She lied. That's more than unprofessional. That's perjury. This is a clear, open and shut case of perjury and probably conspiracy to commit perjury and probably obstruction of justice, maybe witness tampering. And if they don't open a criminal investigation, who will guard the guardians? Who will prosecute the prosecutors? We're all at risk when prosecutors can act the way she did without any possibility that they will be prosecuted for what seems obvious to have been perjury about so many different things. As I said before, people that she has prosecuted and are in prison based on far, far less evidence than the evidence against her and Willis, against her and Wade.
I want to tell you.
Thank you so much. That was yeah. Okay, somebody said something here, and I want to point this out. Paulus, you out of control, my guy. You out of control. It's called hard evidence. Shame on you. All right. Okay, so here it is. The difference is actually seeing the judge versus hearing about the judge. Okay, I think I understand what Franklin Zuna is saying, that if I heard about the judge leaving the brothel versus me seeing the judge leaving the brothel, right? Got you. So then why did he throw out 2 Chainz, what's her name, Yurti's testimony? Because she saw them. I don't know what else we need. She saw them together in 2019, but he threw that out and said there's no context. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. And maybe it is circumstantial, but if we were, I think we all, if you're married and you were involved in this, I don't think your wife would immediately run to circumstantial. I think we all could say, yo, that's probably problematic. There's going to be some problems. There's going to be hard times in the city. And I only bring that up not to make light of it, but only to point out, like, hey, we can see that there's something wrong here. And I think it's okay to say, this is not right. Something is not right. But it is what it is. I mean, he did what he did, and I disagree with him, of course. I've said that. Hard to argue with Dersh. Hey, I like the guy. I like him. I mean, the little bit, I will say again, I've only listened to little bits of Mr. Dershowitz. Who you think is going to prosecute perjury in Fulton County? That's fair. That's fair. But please understand that there are other entities that can take care of that. First of all, she's almost in contempt with the judicial, the congressional, the congressional financial body that Jim Jordan oversees. She's almost in contempt with them. She has about another week and a half to submit documents to them. Again, poor record keeping. Okay. No, but I think that's a great question. No, I don't think she's going to punish herself, and nor would anybody expect her to. There's other entities to do that. All right, I appreciate. Yeah, Yurti. There was no reason to throw out Yurti's testimony. I don't understand why he did that. I really don't. I have not seen any sermons as of yet, Lacey, but the day is still young. The day is still young. Usually they pop up on Monday because people have a chance to kind of check them out, but I'm sure they will be there. Don't you worry about that. Have no fear. All right. But no, that was dope. And I appreciate Megan Kelly for having Alan Dershowitz on there. I appreciate their insight. I think they definitely have a good understanding of the situation. I admit, again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. My name is Jason, and I'm a pre-K law student. But I do want to, before we get into the actual disbarment complaint that was written, which was really interesting, very interesting. I want to tell you, it seems like the overall tenor, the vibe, if you will, looking at the poll that I put up here earlier, the poll here said that, have you liked this video? And I did ask yesterday if you all agreed with the judge, and the overwhelming majority of people said no, they did not agree with Judge McAfee's decision. So I think it's fair to say that this live chat, again, the best live chat in the universe, does in fact disagree with Judge McAfee. I don't want you to be worried about it though, because watch this.
But I think the key here is how to go forward, because clearly Wade is off. But I think that this is such a huge body blow, almost a fatal blow to Fani Willis. I think the way forward is she has to voluntarily recuse herself. I don't know that she has it in her, but I think she has to say, I'm going to appoint like a chief assistant who's going to oversee this case. She clearly has no credibility with this judge, and these issues are going to be taken up. The judge invites these issues to be taken up by all sorts of other Georgia regulators, including the Georgia Assembly, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, the State Ethics Commission. I mean, he lists that. So I think the best thing, if your first interest is the sanctity of this case, which I agree with you, Joe, this is the most important case in Georgia, and of the 4 Trump cases, this may be the most important because it's one that will last regardless of whether Donald Trump wins the presidency or not. If your first interest is this case, I think she needs to remove herself voluntarily and just say someone else is going to oversee this case in Georgia, so that whatever happens to her in terms of ethics, it doesn't taint this case.
Jeff, I mean, the judge's opinion was a scathing rebuke of Willis, her judgment. He wrote that the reasonable questions remain about whether Willis and Wade testified untruthfully about the timing of their relationship. I mean, that's...
Today was a very good day for Donald Trump. This case is going nowhere. Even if, in the extremely unlikely event that this somehow staggers to trial in August or in the fall, think about this. There's another racketeering case in Georgia where jury selection, not the trial, jury selection has taken a year. This case is never going to trial before the election. It's an embarrassment, all of this. I mean, Fani Willis has hung on, but this case is going nowhere very quickly.
I can't disagree with that. I can't. And these people are not right-leaners. These are not, the pro-Trump MAGA crowd. These are people who actually support Fani, and they see the errors, and they're not end zone dancing about this. And I didn't see many more that were end zone dancing about this. Many of the talking heads realized that this was not a good look, and that I think as the week went on, they did realize there's not a lot of good paths to victory here. And even in this, again, this case is still, if we could snap our fingers and it was ready to start selecting jurors today, there's no way you're not going to select a juror that has some opinion here in Fulton County, in Cobb County, in the metro Atlanta area. There's no way. I mean, you're going to have to bus jurors in from Alaska in order. You're going to get some people crossing the border. Maybe they could be it. I mean, crossing the border, that's about as good as it's going to get. There's no way. And again, if this case went to trial, and I like the way he said it, if it staggers to it, it's not strong in the block. Because again, please understand, they're not even at the starting blocks yet. They're not even at the starting blocks. They're not even ready to hear go. None of that. They're just literally trying to get themselves there. If this happened before 2026, I'd be surprised. But I think it's going to get all thrown out. Because again, Fani Willis has a gang of problems. A gang. And not just because Jason says it, but there is a gang of problems that she has on her plate. But before we get there, let's go ahead and listen to Viva Fry. He had some great commentary. I wanted to give him some shout out and some shine. But before we get too far, I got some super chats I got to holler at. Thank you so much. Lacey has always been gracious, coming through, helping me out, supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Lacey. She gave me a great super sticker. Thank you. Bless you. Grace and peace. Then we got guests up in the building. I guess that you think that Judge McAfee is going to let the bar address Fani, in my humble opinion. I agree. Absolutely. That's what's going to happen. And they're sad to say, there's a whole bunch of people lined up to get a bite of that Fani. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just the Bar Association. I mean, there's an ethics commission. There's a lot of problems that she created. And again, I'm going to say it. Fani created her own problems. Everybody wanted to, end zone dance and pat her on the back about that running into court, huffing and puffing. But she didn't have to. And a lot of the problems came from her doing that. But it is what it is. Let's go. Conundrum in the building. Grace and peace, friend. All right, let's see what he's got. Loving the content. Keep up the good work. The judge made a middle-of-the-road decision that has seemingly baffled some of the greatest legal minds in the country. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand it. And hear me. My name is Jason. I'm a kindergarten law school student, okay? At best, pre-K, all right? I know nothing about law, okay? Not a bit. Except the fact that I don't understand what he saw. And I would absolutely love to run into him and just kind of understand, maybe have a coffee with him or sit down and just understand, help me understand what you saw and how you're able to discredit the opinion of Robin Yurty. How are you able to throw out what Terrence Bradley texts to Ashley Merchant? Not just what he said on the stand, because I think we all agree he was lying on the stand, all right? But what he texts to her. And it's such of that nature. How do you throw that out? I don't get it. And not trying to be combative, not trying to be bombastic or anything of that nature. Just want to understand, how did that come about? How did you make that decision? So I agree with you so much, Brother Q. Thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Thank you for the outstanding ideas. I think you earlier we had a conversation for a moment. And, if ever, shoot me an email, dearwokec@gmail.com. I'd love to have you come on and talk about it. I believe you are an attorney in New Orleans or Louisiana proper, but I would love to hear what your thoughts are about this and such like that. And if you are an intelligent legal mind, shoot me an email, dearwokec@gmail.com. I got to ask you how many Law and Order episodes you watched and, who's your favorite Suits character, because that's all I know. But, hey, Republic Room asked a question and I saw it and I'm sorry. I don't want you to think I don't want to skip you. You asked the question and you asked who wrote the complaint. And see, that's where I wanted to go next. So you were right in my mind. And I thought I had uh, selected the comment, but I didn't. So I apologize about that. So there was a complaint written by a citizen about Fani Willis in regards to this trial. And it was submitted as, because if if I were your attorney and I did some misconduct, you can write the Bar Association and say, Jason was my attorney and he was horrible, and give the reasons why and what I did wrong, so on and so forth. And then problems can get started. But I thought it was interesting, and I did not, I was initially going to go through the entire document. I had intended, I queued it up to go through it and really like give it a fair listen. But I realized like, this is a citizen that wrote this. It's not a fellow legal expert or anything like that. It's a citizen. So what I decided to do was just let, and again, in the, down in the description, and as well as the moderators can drop it in the chat, there is the link to all, I think it's better than 25 snapshots of this, this complaint against Fani Willis to the Georgia Bar Association. And though it is extremely insightful, now we will look at some of it. I just didn't want to, because I don't know if it's carries as much weight because it doesn't come from an actual client. I don't know if you can do that. So that's why, oh, here's a question. I think I pulled it up earlier. Who wrote the complaint? All right. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So let's bring Lead and AV to the seventh power. Good to see them. Thank y'all so much. Please check out the Lead attorney and AV to the seventh power. They do some great legal commentary. I get a lot of joy listening to them. I cannot vouch for the language. I'm gonna let that just, you've been warned. But let's continue. Let's give them a chance to tease it out, and he's gonna explain. Let's go.
Again, this is a little weird because usually bar complaints are filed by your clients and that have some relationship to you. But what does this person say? This person says, okay, I have no legal experience.
Neither do I.
I am not, never have been an attorney, nor have I formally studied the law. In that regard, please accept my apologies if my complaint is not in the accepted legal format, or if I have not held it to the standard with the precision and or accuracy that you may expect for formal legal complaints. Also, please excuse any poor grammar or improper terms, and instead look at the intent of the complaint from your experience and context. Although I have an information technology background, I am not associated with SailHawk. This software tool will become relevant in my discussion violating a state bar of Georgia rule. This complaint is mine and mine alone. No one else wrote it, but yet Phil Holloway has it to be published on Twitter, but okay.
Shout out, Phil.
The words, thoughts, and meanings are all mine. When I use the first person plural pronoun in this document, it is merely nocism, which is the common device of an editorial we. My grievance is against Georgia's Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Taifa Willis. While I cite the case below, also referred to as the election case below, without any other clarification, it refers to the state of Georgia versus Donald J. Trump, Rudy Rudolph Giuliani et al. All right. So we got the first page here.
All right. So, and I actually have an interview with the gentleman that actually wrote the complaint for Disbarment. And again, the link is down in the description. I have all 20 plus pages of it, 20 plus screenshots of it in the on my page, so you can check it out. Feel free to do whatever with it and such like that. I couldn't find the actual document itself. That was the first problem. I didn't like. And I was like, I really want the whole document. So you all like to read the whole things, which I think is excellent. And I want to give you the whole thing to review. And I got no problem with Phil. I think Phil is excellent. Like I said, Phil Holloway's office is down the street from Podium Studios, my podcast studio. Phil, come holler at your guy. I would love to have you in the studio. I know he was on vacation with his family. Holler at your boy when you get back in town. Let's go, man. Let's go. But and I wanted to have the full document so y'all could see everything. And it's just screenshots. It's just screenshots. I didn't feel comfortable doing that because I don't know if there's something I'm missing and whatnot. It is 22 pages. There were pages that I didn't have access to. So that's why I didn't want to go over it. So I'm just going to let lead and AV to the seventh power kind of tease it out a little bit. And then we're going to actually listen to an interview with the gentleman that wrote it and kind of get a gauge for what was his mindset and why in the world he did this, why he filed this case. Let's go.
He's saying, all right, guys, listen, I'm not connected in any way with anybody else. All of my work, all 21 pages with a dang table of contents. And then remember, guys, usually these bar complaints are like handwritten or just typed up real quick. This man has a whole table of contents.
Oh, it's intense.
Yeah, I noticed the date. It's March 7th. That was the day of the hearing last week. So I think he found out that he couldn't submit it to Fulton County and needed to submit it to the state because of jurisdiction. So it's dated the same day that this was supposed to be heard last week.
Super interesting, guys. So let's get it. What does he say? He says, the case includes the parallel election cases brought by DA Willis in the RICO case. All right. Any statement below constitutes an allegation, in our opinion and or interpretation, even if not explicitly stated as such, and should not be construed as a proven fact. And again, the fact that this guy uses the word we, what did he say? Any statement below constitutes an allegation or in our opinion. And he tries to explain, it's like, oh, well, this is just the editorial we. Why would you say our opinion if you wrote this alone?
Right.
That's weird. None of this is sounding on the up and up. He's like, oh, I wrote it myself. No one helped me. And then the next page, well, we think that this and we think
our. Yeah, it's like a collective.
So it's like, all right, buddy. We right here, we leave it to the courts and the State Bar of Georgia to use compelled documents and discovery to determine the facts. However, the allegations are serious and have been widely disseminated. Therefore, for the good of the state of Georgia, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
And its reputation in these United States and the world, they should be more fully examined and either proven or disproven by the state of Georgia. I firmly believe the allegation, if proven true in part or in whole, require a determination of disbarment. Laying it out right there, requires a determination of disbarment. So he put right on the second page what he's looking for. Now, guys, we attorneys are subject to various types of sanctions if we violate the bar rules. We can have a private reprimand where they say, hey, lead man, you messed up. All right, don't do that again. But it's just a letter to me.
Right.
Or it could be a public reprimand where they will send that letter to me, but then they will make it public. They will publish the letter for everyone to see. It's like, hey, it's kind of a backslap in public. Don't do that again. Or they can suspend us. They could suspend us for 30 days. If we do something, if you got suspended for 30 days, you did something for real. Then the bar ain't out here just suspending people. But they will suspend you. Like, don't get it twisted. But a suspension is harsh because you have court hearings in these 30 days.
Yeah.
So now you have to push all your court hearings. You have to push all your trials because once you are suspended, you don't have the right to practice law in that state.
Wow.
So you're sat out. And so if you get suspended for 30 days, that really pushes your whole caseload back. Furthermore, you can't make any money in the 30 days. Why not? Because you can't have any consults. How do attorneys make money? We make money. The way that the money comes in, guys, is through consults. You set up a consultation with me at 10 a.m. in my office. You come in with your credit card. All right.
Right there.
And my paralegal or the receptionist sits you down in the conference room. They buzz me. Hey, Lee, your 10 o'clock is here. Fine. I go in and I say, what's your problem? And he said, oh, my wife is doing this, or I got arrested for this. And I listen to you. What do? I start giving you legal advice.
Yeah.
I start saying, hey, well, we can do this. Because of your situation, you're looking at this. These are possible solutions to your situation. These are the laws that govern your situation. You know, you're looking at 8 years. Maybe we can get it down to 3. You know, and with good time and the time you already served, maybe we can get you, you know, you're looking at 8 years. Maybe we can get you 1.5, maybe 1. Keep you at the county jail. Would you like that? Maybe some work release. Yeah. Right. So we're giving you legal advice. Do you know what you cannot do when you are suspended from the practice of law? You can't give legal advice.
Right.
Well, if you can't give legal advice, how the hell are you supposed to get the money? So not only can you not go to court on the cases that you've already landed, you can't land any new cases.
Wow. So
being suspended is for real. If you get suspended for 30 days, 60 days, like that hurts. That hurts. So you really messed up.
And think about it. There's a judge in, I want to say it was Maryland. She got suspended for half a year. She got suspended for 6 months and then ended up going to jail because she shot her boyfriend in the head. It was a crazy story. I got to find that one. But like she got suspended for 6 months. Like, can you imagine? And now Lee just explained here that you can't do any legal work. So all those things that you studied for, all the things that you blood, sweat, and tears for, you can't do those. I mean, what you gonna do? Go cut grass? Go cut hair? Like what can you do? That is it's pretty serious. So 30 days is bad. Like this woman, I don't remember what it was. She was a judge and she used her power to like get a sibling or a son off. It was crazy. And she got suspended for 6 months. All right, let's go.
They could suspend you for a year. They just decide. It's a group and they just decide how long they want to suspend you. Wow. What's the ultimate punishment, the death penalty, is disbarment. You know, yeah, you went to law school for 3 years. Yeah, you got $100,000 in debt. Yeah, you studied your butt off to pass the bar. Yeah, you practiced for all of these years to learn your craft. Guess what?
It's all gone.
It's all gone. All the stuff that you worked for is gone. And now you're cast into a work labor market where you have no skills. The only skills that you have, you are not allowed to use. You still have the skills. You can still pick a jury. You can still give a closing argument. You're just not allowed to do it.
Wow.
You better apply a UPS third shift part-time.
Wow.
So for you to get disbarred, man, it's a death. It is your laboral death. You have to find a whole new thing to do, a whole new lifestyle. And the older you are, you guys know it, the harder it is.
Yeah.
So this guy's Fani is in her 50s. This lady don't know how to do nothing else but be a DA. She don't know how to do nothing else but practice law. Can you practice law when you're disbarred? No. Can you be a DA when you're disbarred? No. So he is going straight for her throat. This is cutthroat right here.
This is some cutthroat stuff.
He's going straight.
All right. So I thought it would be good to give Lead an opportunity to kind of tease it out. But like I said, that and there's some people who talk about it. I can listen to Lead Attorney at 1.77 speed and it gets right through. I just didn't want it to be weird for everybody else because that's usually how I listen to it, a little bit faster than normal. So his normal speed is kind of, he takes his time. He's not in a rush. And this segment is literally 4 hours long. Okay. So for you, however, down in the description, I already put this link to this clip. I'm sorry, to the full video. So you can kind of watch it at 1.5 speed, probably get through it a little bit faster. But I do think he does a great job. Now, I will say, by the end of it, however, he does seem to be poo-pooing on the gentleman that wrote this disbarment complaint. By the end of it, though, the guy wins him over because, again, I don't think he wrote it by himself, so I'm not gonna lie. I do think that he probably got a little bit of assistance, got a little bit of nudge. I'm not mad if he did, but it's much. I mean, it's a thorough review of the case, the evidence that Judge McAfee threw out, the evidence that Judge McAfee did not give good consideration to, so on and so forth. I really think it's excellent. So check it out. It's down there in the bottom. Man, we have 1,100 people watching this video. Thank you all, every last one of you, because I'm going to say it again, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This is the best live chat on the block. If you could, please just drop me a little fire emoji in the chat, if you don't mind. Just drop me a little fire emoji in there and let me know that you are enjoying this content. And if you haven't already liked the video, like the video. If you don't like this content and you don't like me, hit the like button 3 times. I promise you, it'll work. I promise you. Absolutely. I mean it. All right, let's go. There were some great comments right here. Y'all throwing out ideas for what Fani could do. Somebody said she could be a truck driver. Y'all are wild. But you know what, though? But to me, that does make sense. Again, you kind of wonder, like, why was she so passionate to push for this? Why was she so passionate? I've seen a lot of people ask that. If this is all you can do, and this is all you're able to do, I can understand why she was so passionate to stay on the case. And it does make a little bit more sense. I don't agree with it, but I do understand it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. Yeah, I probably would be fighting too. Yeah, that makes sense. Y'all got this woman over here at Family Dollar. Man, come on. Paulus, come on. Oh, man. Now, I think learning the code would probably be a good idea. I don't know how it's going to shake out. I think most of us, thank you so much, man. I'm glad y'all are enjoying this. I really do appreciate it. I really do. Oh, come on now, peace, baby. I ain't going to put her at McDonald's. I ain't going to put her at Mickey Cakes. I'm not going to put her at Mickey Cakes. I'm not going to do that. But I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying this. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but I think everybody agrees something should be done. And sadly, I don't think it's going to go as well as, if she had just recused herself from the case. I think if she recused herself from the case, it might have been different. Definitely, I would love to have known what, if you are a legal mind and you want to have a conversation about this, I got questions. So if you shoot me an email at dearwokec@gmail.com, I would love to hear what you think about it and get some ideas from you. Because I would love to know, like, what would have happened if she had fired Nathan last week? Before the decision came out, and she said, Nate, you got to go, bro. You got to get out of here. Just going to resign. So he resigned or she fired him. It doesn't matter. What would have happened as it relates to this, what came down yesterday, would have been different. Okay. And then also, if she recused herself and just says, you know what, we are not going to try this case because it's causing too much consternation. I'm going to submit it over to the prosecutor's counsel and let them run with it. They can have all the evidence and they can decide. Now, granted, I do think that there's a level of pride that is being exerted here to be the one to do it. So I do think that's part of the problem. So I don't think she's going to do this. But if she recuses herself, what happens? Sadly, I do think there's a lot of wheels in motion already that can't be stopped. So I don't think that's going to stop the fact that she's going to have an ethics charge. And I don't know if she's going to get disbarred, because I know Ricky, good to see you, brother, grace and peace. Ricky stopped by and said the bar for disbarment is actually higher than the bar for disqualification. Not going to happen. I'm not going to argue. I've been wrong before. My name is Jason, pre-K law student. So I definitely understand it. I just wonder if, now, the disqualification, in my mind, was a disqualification in regards to that case. The disbarment, and again, I wanted to speak to a legal mind to help me understand and help us unpack it, because I'm like, well, you lied on the stand. You fraudulently submitted timesheets and allowed him to fraudulently put that money in his IELTA account. If that's proven to me, I think that's a slam dunk. We don't need to have any other conversations. The trips and the phone calls and all that kind of stuff is just ancillary if those two things are true. Just my opinion. Thank y'all so much for liking the video. I appreciate y'all. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Dropping the fire emojis in the building. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Fani was in love. Okay. All right. I got you. K-Dub with the fire emoji. My man. There we go. There we go right there for sure. The judge wouldn't allow everything in. Fani's done some major foul stuff. And I mean, now on the same note, here in Georgia, I totally understand because again, the YSL case is going on as we speak. I was literally talking to another YouTuber about it today. That case is wild. There's some shenanigans and hijinks going on in that Young Thug YSL case. And I mean, it's a RICO charge and the whole nine. Matter of fact, I feel like that is a perfect example of many people argue that Fani Willis used the RICO entirely too freely. She was just throwing RICOs all around, everybody getting a RICO. Like, I'm probably going to get a RICO charge on this. I'm probably sure of it. You know, all Christian YouTubers in Atlanta are going to be brought up on RICO charges. But you kind of see it because there's some very low tier people that got RICO charges that are now turning state witness in order to get somebody who's above them or somebody, the head honcho and so forth. It seems pretty interesting how they're using that. Now, I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm like, I can kind of see what the people are talking about. All right. So many people ask, who is the dude that actually wrote this disbarment motion, this disbarment grievance? And again, he's not involved with the case in any way, shape, or form. He's not an attorney or whatever like that, but he is a citizen. And I guess you can write this. This is very interesting. So here's an actual interview with this gentleman. Let's go.
And we have a Newsmax breaking news exclusive. Here it is, folks. For the very first time, we can reveal new information never before reported, detailing District Attorney Fani Willis's fall from grace that some say should get her disbarred. In this brand new Fulton County Court document obtained, Georgia resident, he's an IT technician, Stephen Kramer, claims in this official bar complaint you are looking at that DA Willis broke several ethics rules while charges of election interference were being brought against former President Donald Trump. In fact, Kramer's bar complaint goes as far as to claiming Willis even used her position as DA to, quote, threaten Nathan Wade's wife, a person she would later have a relationship with and hire as the prosecutor. All right, we're talking exclusively to Stephen Kramer. He joins us live right now. Mr. Kramer, pleasure to have you here on Newsline. You say some people have been afraid to go up against Fani Willis. Clearly you are not. We appreciate you joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me, Bianca.
Well, you stated out in your bar complaint, which we have right here, basically 9 rules of why you believe not only should Judge Scott McAfee disqualify her, but you say it's even so serious she should be disbarred, which means therefore she would be ineligible to even hold the position of district attorney. You have a lot in your complaint here. We're going to put up some of the graphics here. But basically, you're saying Nathan Wade, not only in a relationship, but paid higher amounts, was not qualified among the many things you alleged in the breaking of the rules. Explain to us how you were able to put all of this together so succinctly.
Well, I was watching the news since January when all this broke, that a defense attorney found out that they were sleeping together, which he initially denied or didn't speak to. And then it came out that she did. And so I was watching that. I've watched a number of items there. I watched the Senate hearing, the Georgia Senate hearing that they had on the 6th of this month. And I voraciously read a number of things because it just didn't sit well with me, what I was hearing. That I'm a taxpayer. My money was going to her boyfriend, and then they were going on trips together. So all the taxpayers of Fulton were funding exotic trips on cruises and to Napa and all this, and money was going from taxpayers to him and then back to Fani Willis.
At issue, it's not just money. You also talk about truthfulness. You talk about misconduct. You talk about a lawyer as a public official conducting constituting threat of harm to clients. We know that recent texts reveal it looks like they had been together for what your bar complaint says booty calls. I mean, that is metadata. As an IT technician, you understand that. That's been brought out. And also, you cited in your bar complaint these comments that she made at a church, her first public comments when this story first broke.
All right, so I didn't get that part of it. I don't know what happened. So I apologize about that. I didn't get that. And we all have heard the church speech and such like that. But I thought that was fun. I thought the guy just seemed like a normal kind of cat. He, sure, there's a high probability that he was assisted in putting together this complaint. No question from me at all. I do think he probably was assisted. But it's well written, the bit that I read. I would love to get the full copy of it so I can just have it on the screen without it being screenshots. If I get the full copy, we might go through it. I promise you it won't be 4 hours though. All right, now I saw a comment here that was really, and we're gonna look at Viva Fry and wrap this up with him. But okay, I saw a comment that was pretty interesting. Q Nundrum says, if she recuses herself, she still faces the same issues with the ethics committee. And I thought so. I didn't think that would probably just, as much as she would probably wanted to wipe the slate clean. I agree. But he said here, I beg to differ on comparing disqualification and disbarment. All right, so yeah, I don't know. Again, I have no idea, but I would love to hear what are those disqualification requirements, because somebody else, Franklin asked here, disbarment is extreme. Maybe she'll be sanctioned. So is sanctioned the same thing as being like lead attorney explained here a moment ago? Is that the same thing as like being suspended for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days? Is that the same thing? Is that what a sanction is? If that be the case, I can understand it. I think the spirit of what an attorney is and what an attorney does has been violated pretty badly in my mind, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, you want to trust your attorney, especially for crying out loud. This is the prosecuting attorney. So you want to trust that he or she is not going to cut corners and be dishonest in order to get the W. And to me, I feel like, who's going to trust that? And do you want to be on the other end of being prosecuted by Fani Willis moving forward? Let's say that she gets sanctioned. Let's say that she gets a 90-day timeout, okay? And then, in a couple of years, you are in Fulton County and you get, arrested for stealing avocados from Lidl, okay? And you get brought before Fani Willis. Do you want to be prosecuted by her? Is this ever going to come back in the back of your mind and be like, yo, this is the chick that was doing this, that, and the third? You're like, oh, I see her with that attorney over there. I wonder what she's doing with him. Like, is that what you want? To me, I don't think there's ever going to be a way to recover from that. And then, therefore, are you going to be looking at Fulton County crazy? So, I don't know. Sanctions would be a timeout. Okay. So, sanctions is a timeout. Okay. Or being suspended. Let's just use it. I said the word sanction, but I think Lee called it suspended. And I want to make sure it's the right term. Because I don't know. But I hope that makes sense, though. But for sure, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to minimize it. I do think something should be done. But there's also other things, of course, you got the Georgia Bar Association, you got ethics committees, you got the Congressional Ethics Committee or Judiciary Committee, whatever it's called. And so there's a lot of problems that are floating out there and that she's going to have to deal with. So this is only one of many. So I think we all can agree, like, yeah, this is going to probably be, it's going to shake out some way, shape, or form, whether she loses her license, she remains, whatever. There'll be something will change about Fani Willis's life to some degree, shape, or form. I don't think she'll come out of here unscathed at all. But no, that was great. Bitten once, twice shy. Yeah, since I live in Georgia, I guess I could write a complaint. I'm gonna write a complaint now before she puts me on RICO charges. I'm gonna write a complaint look, and then as soon as she brings me up on RICO charges, all YouTubers in Atlanta are on RICO. I'm gonna just look. I called it down the line. Some of you all are out of control some of you all are out of pocket, totally out of pocket. Just get back in the pocket as my kids like to say, get back in the pocket. Just get back in the pocket, please. All right, let's go. Let's talk to Viva. Viva, man, this case, Viva Fry, if you're not familiar with him, fantastic legal mind. Yeah, this case had Viva. He was struggling. He was struggling, but I want to encourage him. I want to leave him encouraged that you don't got to struggle, Viva. It's not as bad. But let's go find out what happened.
Already.
I can hear it. It's not showing up. Look at that. It's just serendipitous. Interesting. I can hear it, and it's not showing up on the screen. I tell you, man, the law of whatever may happen will happen. Fani she done brought Viva on RICO charges. She done hit Viva with the RICO. Let me pull it up another way. Sorry about that. Man, I'm over here. No problems with the screen at all today. And out of the blue, something goes wrong. I tell you. All right. Now let's bring it in here. Let's do it like that. There we go. He's like, man, they got Viva out here sitting out on the shore thinking about his life. Man, it's rough, man. It was rough. This story was rough for him, man. Help the guy out. Help the brother out. Let's go.
Already, people. Gonna do a little post-mortem of Scott McAfee's decision from yesterday. I've had time to think about it, to listen to what other smarter people have to say about it. The bottom line of the decision, which we now know was a partial disqualification, booting Nathan Wade from the file, but allowing Fani Willis to decide to remain on if she so chooses. It's obviously a net positive for Trump. That doesn't require spin to come to that conclusion. It's a net positive for Trump. I caught a fish on the first cast. It's finally happened, people. It's a net positive for Trump because Fani Willis has been not defamed, but very much demeaned by that decision. Look at this. We finally caught a fish on the first cast. Oh. Yeah, don't go. Gotta show the world. Here. Not a biggie, but I finally caught a fish. Booyah. Okay, back you go. It's a net positive, period. We know that. Whether or not it would have been a bigger net positive if both had been disqualified, probably. Because what would have happened then is that they would have had to pick a DA from another county to decide whether or not to continue with this prosecution. They were never dismissing the indictment outright, period. That was never going to happen. So they would have taken a DA from another.
Okay, I did kind of believe that they were going to dismiss it outright. I did. That's why I was walking around the the Cobb County Judicial Complex campus, telling jokes. Okay, so I did think that. So yep, that was me. I thought they were. In retrospect, I understand why they didn't, why they wouldn't have done that. That would have been bombastic. I got you. I was just hoping that they would come up to Cobb County because that would have been bananas.
County, which probably would have been a little bit more red than blue because Fulton County is a blue county. All right, on its face, then, they might have said, well, we're deciding not to pursue this case. And then people would have cried politics. They got a Republican sympathetic DA who decided to drop the charges. Trump is still guilty even though he was never convicted, yada, yada. I could see that angle. Leave Fani Willis in. She's been horribly reputationally damaged, not by the decision, but by her decisions.
Right.
She remains on this file. No one's going to take it seriously. Nathan Wade gets booted. All right. A huge embarrassment. The decision as drafted opens the door for ethics complaints left, right, and center. And from what I understand from Phil Holloway's coverage and reporting on Twitter, Phil Holloway on Twitter, a must follow.
Yes.
He's in Georgia. He's a Georgia attorney and has the bestest, earliest scoops. Apparently there are now ethics complaints that have been filed against Fani Willis. Because what was written in that decision could leave the room for nothing more than conclusions of unethical conduct. So the decision did not boot Fani Willis, but it gave such a factual finding of misconduct that ethics complaints will be dropping, and from what I understand have been dropped. Okay, fine. People were telling me Dershowitz had predicted that Wade was going to get booted, but not Fani Willis. I had heard that, and the only reason I did not ever predict that is because I stand by this. Logically speaking, you cannot come to the conclusion that one of the two parties that had gotten involved in this improper relationship gets booted, but the other one doesn't. What I found irritating about the decision is that all of the factual elements of it warranted, necessitated Fani Willis getting yeeted, not only because of the improper relationship, but because of the stated forensic misconduct, which Judge Scott McAfee referred to as legally improper.
And again, like that's something that nobody's explained to me, why one but not the other. So if you kept one, why did you not keep the other? If you yeeted, as Viva just said, if you yeeted one, why don't you yeet them both? I don't get that. That made no sense to me at all. Because as I said before, what Wade did, Fani did. And what Fani did, Wade did. I don't get it. I don't get it. Black men for Wade. I want Wade back. Bring Wade back.
But people were telling me, and I saw it throughout the week, that Dershowitz was predicting that Wade would get yeeted and Fani would stay there. So I went to find the clip, and yes, Dershowitz did float that possibility. He said it's very likely, while also coming to the conclusion that maybe neither gets yeeted because of the political implications of yeeting, kicking out, disqualifying a state DA, a county DA, the damage that it could have on other current pending criminal proceedings. So while it's true that Dershowitz did float the idea that Fani Willis stays, Nathan Wade gets yeeted, he did qualify it with another prediction that Wade could also stay in anyhow. But stay tuned. I'm going to have Dershowitz and I are going to do something together in the coming weeks to talk about this.
I'm just not sure what the judge is going to do in this case. It'll be very hard. This is a judge in Fulton County. Will a judge have the cojones to actually look the elected district attorney in the eye and say, I have listened to your testimony. I've listened to your boyfriend's testimony. I've listened to his lawyer's testimony. I do not believe you. I don't think so. I don't think so. Probably a safe bet would be that he will recuse the special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, because that's easy. She can get somebody else saying this in a.
But if she can, I'm going to ask, why did she not? And if you ask that same exact question and you've not already liked this video, can you help me out? Can I get 700 likes? Can I get like 10 more likes at the current moment? I have 690 likes. Can I get a couple more likes? It'd be helpful. But again, like if Fani Willis can get another special prosecutor, my question is, why did she not do that in the first place? Why did she do something shady in the first place? That was the problem that everybody's calling out. Well, not everybody, but again, I feel like if you go to Montana, if you go to California, if you go to North Carolina and get another special prosecutor, because she did such a detailed search here in Georgia, looking under every skirt and behind every bush, then please explain to me why you couldn't find somebody, but now you can go find somebody. I'm just wondering. All right, let's go. Thank you so much. Oh, man, appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much.
Appearance of injustice with their continuing to be in the case together, et cetera, et cetera. You could write that opinion in a minute. I don't think the judge is going to be willing to go so far as to recuse. I hope he does. That would be the right verdict. That would be the right result. The most that I think is going to happen is that there will be a recusal of just Nathan Wade. But that might not happen too. The judge may say, look, I'm not making any findings of fact here. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's somewhere between not doing anything and just probably disqualifying Wade.
What bothers me is that Scott McAfee, the judge, who I liked, who I still like, and I want to find the good in, the judicial good. People are saying, it's 4D chess. Now he gets to leave Fani Willis in the file. Trump always has the bullcrap prosecution card to play. Fine. It's an interesting play, but you read that decision on its face and it doesn't make sense. You read that decision after having watched the trial and it doesn't make sense, and it makes Scott McAfee look like he could not politically, judicially, or independently come to the conclusion that needed to be arrived at, which was disqualifying Fani Willis. And there could only be a number of reasons for which he wouldn't come to that conclusion. A, he wants to punt ball to the Court of Appeal, so he doesn't have to make the politically difficult decision, but he lays up the fact pattern for the Court of Appeal.
Probably so.
To disqualify Fani Willis, and he gets to say, well, I laid the fact pattern up, but I didn't have to make the politically unpopular decision, especially when I'm running. So political cowardice or actual fear. It's not unfathomable that there is real political corruption at play here. And he knew damn well from the beginning, I could never disqualify Fani Willis. And so what he says then is, I could never do it, but I'm certainly not going to be forgiving on her in my court order. But the bottom line is, it just looks like he's not playing 4D chess at the expense of his judicial reputation. I don't know that anybody would humiliate themselves needlessly or even with need simply for political profit. I don't think that anyone with dignity would do that. So it comes down to either judicial cowardice, political cowardice, or something else more nefarious. Bottom line, those are my thoughts. It's obviously net positive. All of these cases are crumbling in real time. The New York Alvin Bragg, Soros-backed Alvin Bragg, that trial now has been postponed at least 30 days because, I don't know, however many years after the indictment, the Department of Justice magically finds tens of thousands of potentially relevant information that they dump on the state prosecutor on the eve of the trial. Now all the parties have made a motion to postpone the trial. Trump might seek the dismissal outright. Crumbling. Trump is in Ohio today. I'm going to show you the clip of this because this is wild. Giving a speech in Ohio today, and says something which allowed the liars and the unhinged lunatics on the interwebs, in particular Keith Olbermann, to take out of context and frame as a threat.
And you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine...
I hear this clip in which Trump says, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. And I see Keith Olbermann's tweet, this is a terrorist threat, tagging the FBI. And I'm like, yep, they're liars. So I know they're lying right now. I go to the rally website or the live stream. I get the in-context clip, and it turns out, yeah, they're liars. Overt, dangerous liars. He was talking about the auto industry, what would happen if he does not get elected, because if he does get elected, he's going to impose tariffs on Chinese-funded Mexican car plants selling cars to Americans without employing Americans. He says, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world. I mean, honestly, I joke about it. He can't walk across the street. In that way, he's like Biden. But for building a plant, he can do the greatest plants in the world, right? That's all he cares about. I said, I'd like to see one of your plants recently. I said, I'd like to see, where can we go? Well, we have to travel to Mexico. I said, why Mexico? He said, because that's where the big plants are building. China's building really big plants in Mexico, and Mexico's building. What about here? Well, we're building much smaller plants here. Can you believe it?
They are becoming increasingly unhinged, maniacal, malicious, which makes them dangerous in a meaningful political sense, and hopefully not in anything more than a political sense. But the bottom line, damn it, Scott McAfee, tore my heart out. And now I got people telling me that I'm still too naive, still too optimistic, not cynical enough. No matter how cynical you get, it's hard to keep up. Lily Tomlin, I didn't predict that both get disqualified because I was hoping that they would. I was predicting it because legally they ought to have, based on the evidence they ought to have. And I thought Scott McAfee was going to make that right decision. But who knows? Maybe this plays out better in the long run. It doesn't matter. We'll see how it goes. Do I want to take a couple more casts? What we're going to do here, put down the Made in America rod that I got the other day, the Defender. I love this rod. And we're going to try just 3 casts with this floater that rattles. That should catch me a fish, and if it doesn't, the video is going to end now.
All right. Well, clearly it didn't work. He didn't get it. He didn't get his fish, so it is what it is. But I thought it was interesting. I like hearing what Viva has to say. He definitely has a clear mind. I wouldn't mind the microphone being a little bit closer, but it is what it is. I'm glad he was enjoying himself. Somebody said he shouldn't be sitting by the side of the lagoon in Florida. I didn't know Viva was in Florida until I saw this. So yeah, that would be kind of wild. I don't think that would be very wise. I'm kind of there as well. Okay, I've heard this as well. Anthony Hood just said that he heard that Fani Willis was going to step down. I heard that on Friday, and several other YouTubers and I were scouring for. I'm going to go on we didn't find it. We didn't find it. Anything to corroborate that. I'm going to go on a limb and say that is not true. And I'll tell you why. She wants to be, matter of fact, the reason we're even in this season, the reason we're even having this discussion is because she wanted to bring those charges against 45. So that being the case, because of that, I don't think that she's going to drop it. I don't think there's any way possible that Fani Willis is going to drop that case. Now, if she does, and because that's effectively what would happen, if she recuses herself, she's pushing all that evidence over there to the prosecutor's counsel. I don't know the proper title, and they will decide whether or not to dole it out to somebody else to see who would want to take it. And I think it's fair to say that nobody would want that living dumpster fire. So I think she's the only one that would. But again, if it happens, I would be very surprised, but we will see. Nonetheless, we will see. Yeah, and again, I know what Trump said there at the rally. Whenever I hear a clip like that, the first thing I'm thinking of is what's the full context of what was said. And I wanted to hear it. I heard it myself. Then Viva, when I looked at Viva had the whole thing as well. And I wanted to use his clip. So yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Come on. At this point in the game, just beat the guy. Just beat the guy. Get a better candidate and beat him. That's it. Biden is going to just have to beat Trump. That's it. That's all. And clearly, since he beat him the first time fair and square, then he should be able to do it without any kind of problem now. Clearly, it should be a demonstrative win. Was it 81 million votes for Biden? It should be that and then some this time. I mean, because it should be a clear, easy, no shenanigans type of situation. Absolutely. There we go. There you go. No problem. All right, dear woke Christian, Viva is a refugee from Canada. Okay, I thought he was in Canada because he says some things sometimes like he wasn't in the United States. So maybe that's it. I thought he was in Canada, but he isn't. All right, he escaped Trudeau's tyranny. He must have had a sponsor to be able to stay in the United States and register his kids for school. Okay, there we go. Hey, I'm glad he's here. He seemed like a very smart guy. All right, I'm going to try to pick up some of these. Hey, I hope you heard the tongue-in-cheek sarcasm of what I was saying, Republic Room. I hope you heard that. There's a high level of sarcasm in that statement. So I think you got me. Superior Judge Ricky says, Superior Judge McAfee has experience. He was assistant DA, senior DA, United States Attorney, and Inspector General before judgeship. He's very well qualified. I don't argue that he's qualified. I think I saw some people ask that in there. I'm not arguing his qualifications whatsoever. I'm not arguing them whatsoever. All I was saying is I disagree with his decision. That's it. And if you agree with me and you haven't already liked the video, can you help me out? I got 792 people liking this video, which is crazy, okay? That is bananas. This video at one point had almost 1,200 people watching it, and that is insane. And I thank each and every one of you. Can I get 7 more likes? Help me out. All right. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being snarky here, fair and square. All right. All right, let's see. Yeah, lots of I'm ultra sensitive these days with all this sus folks. My apologies. Oh no, no problem. Republic room. Let me tell you. I'm trying to be as sarcastic and as comical as possible in this. That's why I tell everybody I'm a pre-K law school student. I'm just having a good time. And no apologies needed, sister. No apologies needed at all. If Chris says, if McAfee doesn't allow the immediate appeal, his reputation will be even more damaged, if that's even possible. Does he have to, or does it need to go to? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know that kind of stuff. Like, what is the chain of events? I thought lead attorney really helped open my eyes with what's the chain of events for, slapping the hand of an attorney. And so that made sense, like a letter, then a public letter, then a suspension, then a longer suspension, then the last one is disbarment. That made perfect sense. That helped me out a whole lot. Okay, so that being the case all the way around, I'm enjoying learning the process of this and how it goes about. Because again, like I think we all, in some way, shape, or form, are familiar with, or at least have heard about the legal system to some degree, shape, or form. Like my support of the legal system is to stay out of it. Okay, that's how I support the criminal justice system, by staying away from it. Even though Fani Willis is going to probably bring me up on RICO charges because of this, but it is what it is. I already wrote my complaint. All right, wrote my complaint on a napkin. There, I complain about it. But I just like to know how this whole process works, because sometimes it does seem like a very cut and dry, straightforward. You saw this, and like, well, yeah, I just saw it. Like there it is. But you go to court, and then lo and behold, it's a whole different thing. So that's what I really want to be able to unpack and better understand, so on and so forth. So that's why I like to have these conversations, because again, the absolute best live chat in the world is right here. And having you all comment and chime in and give your 2 cents and to make $1 is amazing. And you all have such great ideas and great perspectives, because again, we're all just learning. So at the end of the day, I'm hoping that I will be able to have conversations with smarter people that we can all converse with them. Like, imagine if we can get Phil Holloway here and like talk with Phil about this, or an attorney that's very involved in this type of case, maybe one that was in this case. That would be even better. Imagine the merchants. If I had Ashley Merchant to come on the show, I mean, it would be bananas. Or, hey, be able to sit down and talk with one of these persons, the Scorpion Queen, or any of those. That would be bananas. So everybody's getting a RICO. That's right, Paulus. All of y'all getting RICOs. I'm dropping cases on all of y'all. We playing basketball at Pelican Bay. But at the end of the day, I just want to learn how this works, because it's such an involved case right here in my hometown. I could drive 20 minutes and I could be at the Fulton County Superior Court, and I could see what they're doing, what they'll be doing tomorrow, and so on and so forth. That's crazy. And this is a global thing. So we got people in the chat that are in the UK and Australia and other places. I got video clips of people talking about it in India, for crying out loud. That's bananas, man. And I'm like, yo, this is right here in my town, man. As the Peach Turns is literally a global soap opera. And so that's why I talk about these things, and I want to learn about it. So I'm open to being corrected. I'm open to being new ideas and such like that. Dude, if I get the Scorpion Queen on, do you understand? Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, the Scorpion Queen is Nathan Wade's wife's divorce attorney. She did an interview. She's seemed like a nice lady. She's strawberry blonde hair, strawberry hair, whatnot like that. Seemed like a nice lady, but she had this really big, gigantic scorpion brooch on, and I just couldn't understand, like, what is that thing about? And so I just pegged her the Scorpion Queen. So love her, and I think that she probably would be great. So anyway, that's what I want. I would love to be able to continue to have these kind of conversations, allow you all to ask questions, because I don't know all the questions. I always tell people, if you don't know the answer, ask the question. So I don't know all the questions. I want you all to be able to share your questions and your thoughts and so forth. all that kind of stuff like that. Susie, what did I see here? Help fund Dearwood Christian's legal fees. Absolutely, because Fani gonna throw some RICO charges up here in Cobb County. I think that's the only saving grace I have is I'm in Cobb County. But I probably will not drive to Fulton County on purpose because she might put me on lockdown. But yes, help me out. I love it. Thank you, Susie. I love that. I love that. All right. Thank you so much. Really? Okay, I got to do a little bit of research. I like lead attorney because I think I'm learning. So I accept that if you are a lawyer, you definitely, unequivocally, hands down, know more than me. And I've learned a lot from lead. So that being the case, I've not heard everything the lead attorney said, but I've heard quite a bit. And so therefore, in this regard, I feel like we are in sync, if you will. We understand each other. But I appreciate them. And at the end of the day, I respect that if I disagree with somebody, I know, for example, I did a video on the lead attorney and he was talking about prenup agreements in marriage. And I disagree with that. I disagree with why he proposed that idea and so on and so forth. As a Christian, I disagree with the idea of prenuptial agreements. And I've been married 22 years, going on 23 years to the same woman. All my kids are the same mom and dad. And so I disagree with that. Now, I do understand, however, where he's coming from, where his argumentation for prenups are coming from, because he's a divorce attorney. So I kind of understand that, but I still disagree with it. But it is what it is. I would love to have Lead on the show. I'd love to have Lead or AV to the seventh power. I'd love to talk to him about that and just better understand this and just get a better grip on it, because I think all of us can benefit from it. Okay. The Scorpion Queen coming for Wade's money. There's no way for him to hide it. Like, here's a question. So Dershowitz just kind of like threw it out there. Like, oh, she can just get another AD, right? Another, or special prosecutor. I'm sorry. His special prosecutor. Now, if you are a special prosecutor, you're an attorney. So all of you all have gone through the pre-K law school and I've knighted you attorneys, okay? How many of you all are going to take this role for less than what Fani Willis was paying Nathan Wade? If you would, drop a $sign in the chat. If you would accept the normal, regular fee and not the exorbitant $600,000 fee. Who's doing that? I don't see any comments. But if you would, like, how is she going to be able to secure another AD when everybody in the galaxy knows that she was paying this man an exorbitant amount of money? She's not going to be able to find another one. That's why I don't think the case is going to go anywhere. I don't think it. So reclusing and getting rid of Nathan really didn't help her at all, because at the end of the day, she's going to be the problem. Who's going to take this job and all of the burden, all the hassle, knowing that everything that they've done is going to get filed through and combed through with a fine-tooth comb, and they themselves are going to be getting $150 an hour when Nate was getting $250. I'm just listening. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, all of us are pre-K attorneys at this point. How many of y'all signing up for it? Anybody? Anybody running to get this? I don't think so. I just don't think so. Oh, she'll be on Megan on Tuesday. I'm gonna have to be there. I'm starting to like Megan. I definitely like Ashley. Pantene. I like them both. I like Dershowitz. I mean, there's a lot of attorneys in this story that I'm like, you know what? I kind of like them. I like hearing what they got to say. They have smart minds. Because I think at the end of the day, actually, the next counsel might get paid more. Okay, dealing with the defense of Trump. Trump comes with threats and problems. Good lawyer would charge more. There we go. That's my point. So it's not going to be so now imagine if you were the man and the woman. Remember, Fani Willis went on about how she hired 3 special prosecutors, a white man, a white woman, and Nathan Wade. What about them? Will they be getting a pay raise? To me, it's just convoluted. And I don't understand how it's going to work long term. Let me say it like that. She's under that microscope, man. That microscope is present and accounted for. Oh, it's going to be a mess. Nobody wants that smoke. Wait. Nobody wants that smoke getting their deeds exposed, no matter how small. Absolutely. Because I'm telling you right now, man, Miss Bumblebee in the media center, she's still calling me about them old library books when I was in kindergarten. So, I mean, right now, look, they're going to find out I ain't paying my library book fines at, Bumblebee Elementary School. No, ma'am, no, sir. You ain't getting me. Peace Baby says no one would trust her. There we go. Like, who is going to be prosecuted by Fani Willis and have her, you got to put your right hand in the Bible and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And look across and know that you're being prosecuted by Fani Willis. And know that woman lied on the stand. I plead the Fani. That's it. I plead the Fani. That's it. I don't know how this is going to work. To me, nothing good is going to come out of this. The baby splitting didn't help anybody. Yeah, how many of them? Yeah, how many, average man asked? How many attorneys would walk into a DA's contract that risked their license immediately? Because, matter of fact, we should do a live from Fulton County job fair. Like, how many attorneys are lining up at the Fulton County Special Prosecutor job fair? Like, who's doing that? I don't know. Oh, hey, say down. They call him Boots. I like him. You know what? I'm learning how to understand legalese and such like that. And there's just a lot of good legalese being shared here. That's why I like them. So, hey, I'd love to talk to any of them. I'll just wander around the Marietta Square, try and see if I run into one of them at Tiny Bubbles or over at the Australian Bakery. So hopefully I'll catch one. That'd be great. Live. Coming to you live. I mean, there's that question as well. Like, how's it being funded? Fulton County taxpayers are paying for this and have been paying for this up to this point. So they're easily $2 million, $2.5 million in right now. Would that money not have been better spent? I don't know. There's another great question. How are the other lawyers under her not furious that they are getting so much less pay? I don't know. She said she paid him the same rate. That's what she said. But his rate was different. His rate was different, and his ability to charge was different. And please keep in mind, the case hadn't started yet. So if he was charging, let me just say, for example, for fun and games, if he was charging for 60 hours a week and the other ones were not charging for 60, what is he doing? How's he charging for 60 and they're not? Later on in the lead attorney's video with him and AV to the seventh power, while they're going through that, they talk about why people get their hours cut. Why attorneys get their hours cut. And they both were lamenting like, we've all, the lead attorney was talking about, I've always had my hours cut, my billing cut. I submit, 80 hours and they knock it down to 60. I submit 35 and it's knock it down to 30. Everybody's had it. Ashley Merchant, before the Georgia State Senate, said the same thing. But not a one of Nathan's bills was chopped. But literally every attorney has had this happen where they submit a bill and it could be just like, hey, we don't want to charge this person this amount. It doesn't have to be nefariousness. But every attorney has had their bills whittled down to some degree, shape, or form. But not Nathan. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, this is another great question. I wonder if the other two special attorneys will stay knowing that Wade was being paid so much. Well, we knew that Wade has been paid so much back in January. So if they're still there, then they might still be there. We'll see. Playing much more than they were being paid, especially the guy that actually wrote the literal book on RICO. Yeah, that is true. I don't know. That's a fantabulous question. What is going on from the front yard work? What to see you? See a human? And I was being a little bit more facetious, Ricky. I apologize. I was being a little bit facetious. I don't think that Fani Willis would necessarily be in there if I get arrested and charged for stealing avocados from Aldi's. I don't think that she would be there. I just think that the premise, I think the whole point, I would just still plead to Fani. I'm still pleading Fani. And I plead Fani. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? I plead Fani. There we go. And I'm being funny. I'm being funny. Okay. And, you know, at this point in the game, you're right. We watch YouTube. Said, I think there are a good number of, I think you're saying shiesty attorneys that would line up for that contract. It's probably true. It's probably true. See, Republic, I like your thinking because I've said this before. I really think they knew this case was garbage. I think they knew it. She says she chose Wade because she knew she had no case. The other two already dropped. Yeah. There's a lot. I don't believe this case is going to see the light of day, period. And if it does, it will be well into 2025 at best. All right, what we got here? Anna Cross is paid the same as Wade, but the public officials, her salary is capped, and outside counsel isn't entirely capped. Okay, and there we go. So I guess my question is well, why would Anna be? Well, if I were Anna, I would be walking in saying I need to be a contractor so I can be uncapped. It would just make sense. But I'm also trying to cause chaos. I'm trying to cause chaos. So there's that. That's what I do. I cause, food fights in pre-K law school. So I'm just here to cause chaos. Okay, so Road Dog says Anna was $1.50. I think you said $1.50 an hour, and Nate was $2.50. I mean, yeah. Well, thank you, Mrs. J. Thank you so very much. I'm glad y'all putting up with me. I'm glad y'all putting up with me and my pre-K law school student knowledge here. All right, what we got here? The third special prosecutor, Anna Cross, was being paid $2.50 per hour since 2022, according to the Daily Caller. Okay, here we go. But being paid the same rate, now that would be factually true. So that would say that what she said, let's just say that Anna Cross, as a Fulton County employee, was being charged $2.50 an hour, was charged $2.50 an hour. Nathan Wade, as a contractor, was paid $2.50 an hour. The problem is that Anna Cross could only charge up to this rate, and Nathan could charge up to here. So though you're only being charged $2.50, you're charging $2.50 an hour. Sure, Anna can only charge for 2 hours, so she can only make $500. But Nathan can charge for 20. And math is real hard, so I'm going to try to play it off like I know how to do math in my head. But so there's a difference. So I don't think that it's a bones for bones, pound for pound similarity. So I just think we got to be mindful of that. Oh, Shamika Williams coming in here throwing bowls. She came in here starting trouble. Come on, let's go. I got to give you the air horn. All right, and I'm going to give you ain't nobody got time for that. Shamika says, I'm so tired of women using the race card. Fani was a DA, which proves others' points as to how it's not a racial. She's a black DA who made over $250 a year. So you can cut it out. Come on. Absolutely. Road Dog says the judge skipped over all the hours he billed before the indictment. And that's a great, whoa, wait, in the world? Wait, hold on. This has got to be a phony. Is this a fake? Is this the lead attorney in the building? Are my hands sweating? Oh my goodness. What's up, Lee? Thank you so much, man. Grace and peace. Good to see you, man. I've enjoyed your show. We actually just looked at a little bit of clip from you and AV to the seventh power. Thank you for stopping by today, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Man, you got me all thrown off here. But I think the judge did skip that. And if Lead ever wants to drop some more knowledge on this, I would love to hear, Because again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all drop Lead in the chat. Go ahead and let Lead know that we appreciate him stopping by the pre-K law school. throw him a shout out. And by the way, you know who the lead attorney is. He's a divorce attorney here in Atlanta. Go by and check out his channel. He does some excellent work. And I've learned a ton. Let me just say, everything I've learned, I've stole from lead attorney almost, okay? So go ahead and give him a shout out. Check him out. Thank you so much, man. Stop playing with me, man. You got me all getting all Terrence Bradley up in the eyes up in here. Eyes are sweating. Got your guy all discombobulated. I'm going to have to go off camera in a second. But no, appreciate you, lead attorney. Thank you so much, y'all. This guy has been a real blessing to my content creating as well as my knowledge as it relates to the law. So having him stop by here is no small fact at all. I know he came by though. Watch this. I know Lee came by here because he heard word that this is the best live chat in the universe. So make sure y'all let him know that we is the best live chat on the planet. Okay. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much for stopping by, for sure. Hey, I'm up here in Marietta if you ever want to holler at your guy. So we'd be love to rap with you. But and just the information that we've picked up from you and AV, shout out to AV as well as the countless others that you've had on your channel, Lead, have been extremely beneficial. So I'm joking over here, I'm cracking jokes and all that kind of stuff like that. But I really hope people I hope you realize it, bro. We appreciate you and the insight that you've been giving in this space and all the other arguments that you've been making, all the other cases you've been reading through has been a blessing. So thanks so much. I love how you did it, Elizabeth. Lead is in the building. Absolutely. So thank you very, very much for stopping by, Lead. I appreciate you, man. You got tons of fans in here. Lots of people appreciate your content and what you've been doing, man. So thank you, man. Salute to the chat. See, he knows it's the best chat. He's trying to come over here and steal some chat, people. That's what it is. Because he knows this chat is the best chat on the planet. I love it. Oh, come on now. We all know we love Nate as well. Absolutely. I do think that, and as we went through the earlier with, not to call him out again, but when Lee went through like, what is the process for attorneys getting in trouble and such like that. I don't think that this case as it relates to the prosecutor's oversight committee. I do think that was already in the works from my understanding. It had been approved a long time ago and it just happened. I'm saying it just happened to be signed last week. Yo, y'all don't leave your boy. Come on, don't leave me, man. I'm over here. I'm already in my office talking to myself. My kids make fun of me. Don't let him steal y'all, man. Don't steal. Come on, Lead. I'm gonna bring you up on RICO charges. We already gonna get caught. We already gonna get RICO charges, so it's okay, man. I've already written my complaint. I'm looking at the guy that wrote the complaint. I'm already filed my complaint. So if she brings me up on RICO charges, I'm already going to complain. Don't steal him, no. Don't steal him, no. Come on, man. Caldwell, don't go with me. Don't go. Stay with me, bro. Don't stay with me. I need you, Rick. Don't you leave me. But yeah, so I think that the bill that Governor Kemp signed just recently, I do think that was in the works. So I don't think that it was happenstance that he signed it this past week, but it was already in the works. So I think that just so happened to come, like they already got everybody's attention. Let's sign this. There's going to be more attention to it, so on and so forth. Because again, like, why would they do that? Because of this case. I mean, let's tell the truth, man. Be honest. So yeah, that's pretty wild. But I'm really interested in seeing how this all shakes out. What's going to happen next week? Who's going to be, is she going to be able to hire a new special prosecutor? Are they going to be able to get the same amount of money? Are they going to have a cap like Anna Cross? Or are they going to have like unfettered running free? Anything like that? What's going to be the case? This is going to be amazing. I'm just telling you, this is going to be bananas. Okay, Ricky's still staying with me. My man. Ricky, stay with your guy. Help me out. But I'm wondering, like, how's this all going to pan out? What's going to be the end result? Because as absolutely, Karen said, there's thousands of us that know up from down. Like, this was such a weird case that I just cannot believe it went like it did. But, the more I look at it and the more I listen to other smart minds, I'm like, you know what? I kind of understand what Scott McAfee, because again, I said it on the Thursday before that I don't wish to be in his position. I mean, I don't wish to be. The reason that guy looks like that is because of his position. Okay. I don't envy his role at all. So I didn't think that it was going to be an easy decision, but I thought he was going to make the decision that seemed like the right decision to me. And I dare say most of this chat was that most people thought he should have thrown her out. But my kids are crazy, man. My kids and my wife are at a play and they're on their way home. I'm watching them on the Life 360. But they're on a play, they're at a play. But they love, man. They come stand outside and talk trash to me and all kinds of stuff, man. They're nuts, man. Those kids are crazy. Oh, they're not too far away. But yeah, so that's that. I appreciate y'all, but definitely thank you so much, lead attorney, for stopping by, man. That was a blessing to see you come through the chat and such like that. All right, I actually think there was a question for him. Was there a question? Am I hallucinating? All right, I thought I saw a question toward the lead. It is right here. There we go. Enjoy your content, but I'm loyal to woke. Working on a law degree over here. Oh, we are. This is the pre-K law school. Absolutely, the pre-K law school. No question about it. But I mean, we got people from Australia up in here. We got former law enforcement up in the building. Fani's a hot mess. I don't know why she chose to put her. I mean, come on. Like, she just brought again, and nobody required Fani Willis to hire her boyfriend. If she didn't hire her boyfriend, I don't think we would be having this discussion. I still think the case was really wonky to start with, but that would be a different animal. But by bringing Nathan Wade into it, she only exacerbated problems that did not need to be there, in my opinion. So that is to me, I think that's the problem in my mind. And a lot of these issues that Fani has are really self-inflicted. Because just think about it. If she hadn't waltzed herself into that courtroom all hot and bothered that day to get into the witness box when they weren't calling for her, there's a lot of stuff that we wouldn't know. Now, granted, maybe they would have deposed her. Maybe they would have subpoenaed her to come and testify. Sure, maybe so. But she went willingly in there to do that. And she created all the other problems. If she hadn't hired her boyfriend, if she hadn't run up in there, throwing papers, talking about lies, all that, I mean, she did that herself. And all the other things that subsequently followed, or other things that were around, like the book deal. Nobody required her to do that. That was her. All right, what we got here? McAfee and Kemp on the phone. McAfee says, I'll take Nathan. You take Fani. Okay, I can see that. Fani tried digging a ditch, Shamika says. Fani tried digging a ditch for someone else, and she ended up falling in it. It's just the hypocrisy. I'm sorry. It's just the hypocrisy for me. I agree. Because at the end of the day, sure, could she have, is there something that could have been brought up? I don't think there's any argument there. Sure, she could have brought something up. But the demonstrative, the RICO charge to me is just a bit much, especially when you look at like the Young Thug case that's going on in Atlanta right now. Like, this is a street gang. Like, this is a potential street gang with a murder on them. Like, and usually it's like for the mafioso. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, to me, it's just a lap too far. And again, you add to it all of the weak points that Fani had brought into this, aka hiring her boyfriend and all of these other things with it. It just made it bad. Like, oh my gosh. Too many kids to wear headphones. I need kid-friendly programs. I got you. If it wasn't streamed, we would never know. If it wasn't streamed, yes. Would we? I mean, they would have still reported on it. I think seeing it in 4K, since most of us were watching it when it all happened, or were definitely drawn in pretty quickly, I think watching it added to it. But you know, if we were in city or a state that didn't allow you to record in court, like Chicago. They have to do like the court artist. I think some of New York is like that as well. There's other places as well where you can't actually see it in real time. I think that actually adds to it, the drama of it, if you will, in my opinion. All right, what we got here? All right. Lots of good family reunion. I see lots of conversation back and forth, which I'm always loving. I'm loving the good conversation. Michael, okay, now Lead is commenting here. Michael, there are a lot of attorneys on YouTube who never curse and are family friendly. Everyone is free to enjoy them as well. And I agree. And I try not to, I understand Lead's perspective. Totally no problem there at all. So I try my best to make it kid friendly as best I can. And most of the time when the clips I've played have been very kid friendly and all audience approved, but I understand it. So got you. Thank you so much again for that. All right, what do we have here? Fani's personal interest is still overriding everything, including her acceptance letter. Do not get me started on that letter. Oh my gosh. That thing right there, that letter was written to be read aloud. It was not first of all, Nathan's resignation letter and Fani's acceptance letter are not written like I'm writing my resignation letter to Shamika. I'm writing my resignation to see a human. Hey, it's been fun working here. Thanks for the time. I got to go. Nothing like that. Those are written as, dare I say, to be read. They are written to be parsed through, so on and so forth. I don't know why I didn't pull those up. But yeah, I don't know. Those letters were a mess. They're a mess. Like, come on now. You don't even talk like that. You don't even talk like that. Yes, and see, that's what Republic Room, I agree with that. Like if Fani had been just, easy like Sunday morning, calm, cool, and collected. Let's say, I think we could say Nathan was very cool, calm, and collected. He didn't, now, whether or not you agreed and believed him, he was cool, calm, and collected. I think Terrence was pretty, again, he was lying. I felt like he was lying, but he wasn't bombastic. He wasn't all huffing and puffing and blowing the world down and such like that. But Fani came in there a whole different game. And I think that she had contrast herself, because the first time she was in there with the pink dress, and then she came back in the next time at the closing arguments, she was different. And I think that she didn't do herself a solid by that, because she was a different composure. It was different vibe, if you will, passing on notes. Oh my gosh, passing those notes was crazy. So I do think she set herself up. Again, I'm going to go on a limb. Most of Fani's problems were self-inflicted. They were unforced errors. So if you were playing football, the coach would have you running miles for that, because you created problems that we didn't need to have. Your head wasn't in the game, you weren't focused, and you made mistakes that caused us yardage, that caused us a touchdown, caused us downs, whatever. So it was unforced errors. Same thing with basketball. All right. All right. She was the weapon. She was the weapon for him that wouldn't prosper. I mean, I see what you did there. I see. Well played. Well played. I see what you did there. All right. I like this. Thanks so much. We watch YouTube. Lead, you got another comment. Said, Lead, I like what I like about your show is that you use sticks and carrots to interact with the audience. It's a thing to watch. And again, I'm going to give him credit for that. I've learned a lot from him in that regard. Free Thug. So anyway, Young Thug is the gentleman that a former rapper that is being brought up on the YSL RICO case that's here in Atlanta as well. And so clearly you got some fans here. Free Young Thug. All right. All right. Man, shout out on the membership. There we go. Thank you so much, man. Oh, by the way, thank y'all for becoming members. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. She has 2 top RICO attorneys sitting there, even if she doesn't like white. She has 160 lawyers on her staff to use. I mean, there we go. So she couldn't have had anybody? I just think it's going to be wild because whoever she hires as special prosecutor moving forward, I mean, they're going to get raked with a fine tooth comb. I mean, heavens forbid she gets somebody from another state. There's going to be a problem there. Heavens forbid she gets somebody from Atlanta or the metro area that has been here that didn't get vetted the first time when she selected Nathan. That's going to be a problem there. How much she going to pay the person? There's going to be a problem there. Are they going to be capped? Are they going to be able to make, block billing and all that kind of shenanigans? There's going to be a lot of weirdness. It's going to be wild. It is going to be insane. Yeah. Oh no, that's a whole nother dumpster fire. I just started, just like literally this past weekend, started kind of perusing through. I'm like, yo, this case is wild. And I mean, trust me, if the Fani case went away today, the YSL case and all the shenanigans and hijinks that's been going on could pick up without without missing a beat. It would keep the As the Peach Rots story going for sure. All right, let us go. Will she be reelected? Okay, if you had asked me this, great question, Terry. If you had asked me this question Thursday, I would have said nope, because she about to get thrown out. As Viva Fry said, she gonna get yeeted out. Oh no way in the world. She gonna get thrown out, man. It's gonna be crazy. She ain't gonna be reelected. Today, it's very possible she's gonna get reelected. I'm sorry. I don't even know what world we're in anymore. So at this point, all I know is this is the best live chat in the universe. I'm a pre-K law student, and it is very possible that Fani Willis will be back in that DA ship. What is it, in May? I think the election is like mid-May. I don't see it changing. Now, sure, she has some competitors. Sure, she has some challengers that are probably really good. At this point in the game, I don't even know what to do. Again, if you had asked me Thursday, it would be a totally different answer than what I'm saying now. So I'm gonna say she's gonna be reelected. Because I can't take the heartbreak anymore. In the words of Tony Braxton, unbreak my heart. Unbreak my heart. But here, Caldwell, and matter of fact, Rick Caldwell, fantastic content creator, a good friend of mine. He lives right here north of me in Kennesaw. Please go check out his channel, Caldwell Apologetics. He does fantastic work looking at and discussing other cultural topics from a Christian lens as well. He and I have done projects in the past, and I'm looking forward to doing them with him in the future. So go check out Rick over there. Rick just says, Terry, time will tell. Time will tell. All right, what we got here? Yeah, see, that's what they were arguing in that. They were actually arguing at the time that she didn't need to testify. Then in she marches. I almost wish I could go back and pay attention to that because I wasn't paying attention to what they were talking about, but they were literally saying, you don't need to be here. Okay. Woo. Lead attorney asked me, Dear Will Christian, do you think she should be disbarred? Okay. I'm going to say yes. There's solid answer. Yes. For a couple reasons. There's no credibility anymore. I don't feel like she is demonstrated. Well, let me back up. She lied on the stand about very clear things. She made some very clear statements that were not true. Today is Wednesday. That's a lie. It's an outright lie. So she lied, clear as plain as day. I feel like that's really bad. That being the case, she also ran a office that is completely cattywampus. I mean, from the billing questions to the way that she's submitting charges and so on and so forth. To me, without, again, as a pre-K law student, I know nothing. To me, that's a bad deal. Now, if in fact, I learned this from you and AV to the seventh power, if in fact she was involved at all with the IOLTA money thing going on, so Nathan could hide money from the Scorpion Queen and his estranged wife, to me, that's it. If she was okaying that they were putting his money in the IOLTA so that the money could be hidden from the interrogatories, to me, there's no good reason. Now, I don't know. I was literally watching your show and I played it earlier, Lead, where you talked about how, they get a 30-day suspension and they can't do any kind of law, and it could get 60 and it could get worse. And I even talked about the judge. It's not in Maryland. There's a judge who like shot her boyfriend, and she had been suspended for 6 months. Like, that's pretty crazy. She wasn't disbarred until just recently. But so I don't know, like, the severity. I don't know if there's a severity level. So Jason, based upon what I know, I would say that she should be disbarred. But that would be me. I think Terrence should too. I do think Nathan should. I hate to say it. I don't think any of them should be practicing law come the summer. That would be my assessment. But what do you think, sir? Tell me. Or maybe we need to bring you in. You want to jump on? Got to work on this skill anyway. There we go. All right. If you got time, TLA, I'd love to introduce myself to you and hear your thoughts. If you got time, that's for the lead to jump in if he has time. There's a lot of people that are not playing games with this, how he treated his ex-wife. Y'all are not playing games with it. Sky Nail says Nathan was shady to his ex-wife. Karma payback. Now let's be honest. She's his wife still. He's not divorced yet. And I don't think in Georgia you can just determine like, oh, I don't want to be married. We're having whatever he called it. I don't think you can do that. So therein is a problem. She finessed with them cars. That car thing was so bad. Oh, that was such a bad look for Fulton County Commission. That's on them though. They shouldn't have, I don't think they should have approved it. Because it was from the knowledge, at least tabled it. They shouldn't have just approved it, in my mind. Yeah, if you have time, Lead, I just dropped the link in here. If you have time, that'd be great to hear your thoughts. If you don't, it's perfectly fine. You got better things to do than come to the pre-K law class. But if you had time, it'd be great. Love to hear your thoughts on that one. Y'all on this shirt. So y'all like the that was cute. You all are hilarious. Congress is going to get right. Yeah, there's another issue. She's got a lot of problems on her plate. So I don't know if there's a triage level, like what's the most problematic all the way down to the least, but she's got a lot of problems that are on her plate. He was divorced in his mind. He's just in his mind. He was divorced in his mind, Day says. You know where he keeps all his work products. I see what you did there. April says she's over Atlanta. Atlanta must be stopped. Atlanta's got to be stopped because the peach is rotten. I mean, we got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. We got to. What did you say, Violet? By the way, Violet Chikune in the building. Berean Babes podcast. She and Q from Q's Corner last night went over the decision from Judge McAfee. Seemed like they had a great conversation. I chimed in a little bit and checked them out. So please check out Violet over there as well. Jason has upgraded to eCam. I have, but let me tell you right now, my eCam skills are on par with my legal skills, okay? So I'm in eCam pre-K just like I'm in legal pre-K. Atlanta must be stopped. Oh my gosh, we got to do better than this. If a moderator could drop the link to AV to the Seventh Power's Shopify store, I do not get any kickbacks from it. But she just uploaded a Shopify store where that shirt, what's it called? That's Cute 2024 is I absolutely drop it in. It'd be fun. Fani lied on court documents and submitted it in Wade's divorce case. She also abused power. Like she threatened Jocelyn with criminal case if she didn't. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems there. Nathan's wife loses in the end. Her lawyer contacted Ashley Merchant to force Wade to cooperate. She reached a settlement with Wade, but with Wade out, no money for X. Okay. I don't think we ran him off. I think it is very possible. He said, I saw the comment that he was bopping between other shows, so it's perfectly fine. And hey, I totally get it. All right, what we got? Somebody said that Atlanta was unstoppable. Look, we got to do better, Atlanta. We got to. Living here, look, we got to do better than this. All right. Where we got? Okay. Terrence Bradley got off scot-free for lying. I say, I don't know. That's another thing. Like, I don't know. The case that we were watching was not a criminal trial. It was just a disqualification hearing. So it's not like, I hate to say it, but it's not like it has, it's not like they're going to arrest you for lying right there on the stand. Like, oh, you lied, and book them and throw them in jail. That is not the case. Now, does that mean that, 2 weeks later you can get a letter or a knock at the door? I don't know. But let's finish what Desmond says. Terrence Bradley got off scot-free lying so they could get Fani. If the judge kept his testimony, then he would have had to dismiss Fani and Nathan. Some other people want to deal with Fani. I don't think she gets away free at all. So I don't think Scott McAfee made the right decision. But even with that, I don't think that Fani's she's going to get away with it for sure at all. So there's that. But we're going to see how it goes. Where's my family? Oh, I see them. They are still on the road. Okay. All right. Congress won't do anything. Really? They just threaten and write letters. Really? Okay. All right. Does anybody else think that? That's pretty wild. I thought there was going to be something that comes out of it. Maybe not. Judge was told to back off of Fani, so they could get her. Okay. I mean, there is a lot to this. And that's the great thing about this conversation and having this dialogue with the best live chat on the planet, because no matter what, we're all learning different perspectives. People have saw this outlet or read this article or has this experience. So therefore, it only adds to the richness of this conversation. So I'm all about it. Fani was voted to DA office. The people in Atlanta can exercise their rights on ballot. I agree. The review boards, Caldwell says, will likely take up the slack after the judge's ruling. Okay. All right. And there's still going to be an appeals court. There's still an appeals case. I don't think, as I said before, this thing is going to see the light of day until 2025 at the very earliest. There's just no good reason to believe that this will come to a head and be in a court before 2025. Oh, thank y'all so much. All right, so here's AV to the Seventh Powers t-shirt. I'm gonna go check it out real quick. And maybe I'll grab one real quick. I want to thank y'all so much. If you haven't already liked the video, help me out. Like that video. Help me out. If you haven't already. Why don't I see it over here? All right, here we go. I like it. I like it. So if you're not familiar, all right, if you're not familiar, this is AV to the Seventh Power. She's the co-host of the Lead Attorney Show, and she had that shirt that said that was cute, playing off of what Fani Willis said when she was at court. I'm in the way. Jason, move your head out of the way. All right. So I think that's hilarious. So yeah, check it out. Cop the shirt. Let her know that Dear Woke Christian sent you. I think that'd be great. I'm gonna have to get me one. I think that'd be hilarious. I'm not a white t-shirt guy. Does it have colors? It does have colors. I don't like white t-shirts. I don't know why, but I'm just not a fan of them. But you can get one, check it out. Let her know that I sent you. I love it. That's hilarious that she did that. I love it. Bradley was stained by the payout that is now on records. There you go. Black women are not being held accountable, April says, these days. Nothing will happen to her. Nothing, April? Oh, come on, April. Nothing? Oh, hold on now. Hold on, nothing? Okay, here it comes. All right, April. If nothing happens to Fani Willis here, I'm going to say it like this. All right, April. If nothing happens to Fani Willis by, let's go June. So she's not voted out. She's not get an ethics violation. She doesn't get some kind of censure or whatever like that. I'm going to buy you and your husband this That Was Cute t-shirt from AV to the Seventh Power. All right. If nothing happens, if something happens, you got to give me one, but you got to ask me, can I get it in colors? But I just don't think nothing. I can't believe nothing. And again, I'm adding voted out. I'm saying she gets some kind of censure. Was that suspended? Something like that. I just can't believe nothing. That would be disappointing for sure. Right. To me, Bradley, again, maybe he was threatened. Maybe he had some, maybe got a phone call and an offer he could not refuse. But I mean, that was the most telling, because please keep in mind, if he lied, I didn't understand when Judge McAfee said he was lying. Were you saying he lied in the text messages or he lied on the stand? Because I think we all agree he lied on the stand. I don't remember. I don't recall. Okay. I think we all agree that. But the text messages he sent, that's what brought us here. And everything he said was proven true. So I didn't understand when Judge McAfee said he was lying, as if that was everything he said was a lie, or just what he said on the stand here was a lie. I didn't get that. Congress will not be able to do anything unless the DOJ gets involved. Wow. Okay. And Violet makes a very clear point. We get the leaders we deserve. Absolutely, man. Like we deserve this type of leadership. We can't clutch our pearls and be like, we deserve something better than this. We can't. I love it. Thank you so much for that. My husband, California Human, says, my husband is back up in Atlanta, took 10-year-old grandson for spring break. They went to Atlanta Fair. He almost got blown off a ride. A woman on a ride snatched him back down. Thank you, God, for that woman. Praise God. What fair? I know we got a gigantic, oh my gosh. They have a Ferris wheel in the middle of Atlanta. That thing is gigantic. I don't know how many buckets it has, but it is the biggest Ferris wheel I have ever seen up close. I mean, it is pretty. And they do some great lighting on it. And it's just, I mean, it is a sight to behold. Hopefully that's not it. But they also have tons of little fairs and stuff like that. So I'm not certain where, but I'm glad everything went well. Fanny was paying him $250 an hour, and he was work meetings for 10 hours. Come on. There's no argument for me at all, Black Cappuccino. The first sentence, the judge was blatantly wrong. He even spelled out what she did in his decision and still allowed it to stay on. She initiated and participated in every step of the way. The judge was biased. That's what I'm saying. Black men for Wade. Wade needs to be brought back. I don't know why Wade is being dismissed. In my opinion, I don't understand it. Come on, hilarious too. Oh, that hurts. Atlanta is one of the 6 most corrupt cities in America. Oh man, it's probably true. I ain't gonna even lie. I just want to hold out hope and faith that we get better, but I think we've already passed that. We're at the point of no return for sure. And then she approved his monthly pay. There we go. I mean, to me, that's enough right there, Sky Nails. There's enough right there to say, I don't understand how that went by without some kind of scrutiny. I'm glad you found it too, Shamika. I love AV and Lead. They are the absolute best. Glad I found your channel, DWC. I just subscribed, bro. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you came through. Glad you enjoyed it. Good to see you, Peace Baby. Now, Peace Baby is an Australian. Is out there with the kangaroos, out there in the land down under. I love it. I love it. No, you didn't stutter, April, but I'm telling you, look, we're going to be back here with the best live chat on the planet when you order my shirt. I'm going to come on your channel and I want you to go online and you're going to be just like this. You're going to be like, all right, let me go on and order your shirt. What size is Lady Dear Woke Christian, Jason? Do you want the girls get shirts too? And then you're going to add them to your cart and then we're going to be good to go. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. So no, you didn't stutter, but that's it. I'm just telling you. They need to be held to a higher standard. Absolutely. And again, I don't think it does Atlanta a favor if we don't require something from her that she be held to that standard. I don't think we do ourselves a favor. We look corrupt. We look just like this right here. We look like this, like we're okay with this. Atlanta is one of the most corrupt cities in America. One of the top 6 corrupt cities in America. It's like we're okay with that. That's okay with us. Grace and peace. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you so much for giving them a shout out. All right, what I miss? She'll get suspension. I mean, there's going to be something. I just don't look. April's wrong. April's wrong. You know what? Matter of fact, let April know that we know that she wrong. Everybody drop April in the chat. Everybody just write April. And if y'all want to be real cheeky, write April 17. And y'all know why. April 17. Just put April in the chat. Just put April in the chat. Or April 17. Y'all know why I said April 17. Yeah, April, I don't know. The women of Atlanta. There's other people here. There's males here. There's guys. There's other women that don't put up with that. No, April's getting a little bit of, she's building a coalition in my live chat. Is there factions in the live chat? No, we can't have factions in the chat. No, sir, no, ma'am. Oh, man, come on. We can't have no factions. Come on. We can't do that. Day says, we over here with Newsom. Look, y'all, that guy right there is a piece of work. Oh my gosh, he's a piece of work for sure. See, there we go. Y'all know April wrong. Come on. Don't let her get away with it. Come on, Neva. Come on. I've been wondering, Black Cappuccino, great name always. I've been wondering why I've been so upset the past few days and just realized it was the judge's decision that soured my mood for the past few days. Narcissists get away because they manipulate people. But hold on, stop. Do not let what happens there get you out of character. No, sir. No, sir. No, don't let it happen. Don't look again. I disagree with him. I think he was wrong as today is Sunday, but there is absolutely, positively no reason for us to be hand wringing. Woe is me. Woe is me. The world's coming to an end. The sky's falling, because it's not, because our king was never up for election. Christ still reigns, and he sees fit that allow this to go on, this political theater, what they call it, lawfare. And God sees fit to allow this to happen, to show the wickedness of men's hearts, to show the brokenness of our political and law systems, and realize that, look, we need a king that is righteous and just and can divide and can properly judge. That's what we need. So no, there's no reason. Do not be afraid. Even though we got people like Mr. Champlin up in here saying that April is 100% correct, we might start putting some people in timeout up in here. We're not going to have factions in my live chat. We're not going to do it. Whoa, not another one? Oh, Lord, no. Oh, no. No, we cannot have these kind of shenanigans. No, sir. No, ma'am. Y'all kick April out of the live chat. Kick her out of the chat. Kick the Standard of Truth podcast out of the chat. She got to go. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You got to go. I'm just kidding. Please. Y'all know good and well. Don't you kick April out of here. I love Neva. That's my look, April. I'm gonna trade you in. Neva's my new BFF. She knows what's going down. She knows it. April, go and get that money ready to buy me these t-shirts. Right. Yes, please check out what April has going on. Check out everything April has to say on Fani and more. And there's her podcast link right there. Please check out and let her know that she needs to buy Dear Woke Christian and Team Whitaker t-shirts. Because Fani's gonna get at least get a slap on the hand. At least something. April, hey, look, April is welcome to come on. April, you want to jump on? You got something going on? April has a regiment. She can't just be hopping on without any plans. I'll drop the link in there if you want to, April. You know where to find me. April has a regiment, so she's gonna tell me, like, give me 95 reasons why she can't. I need to. All right, so Susie, we're not kicking April out yet. But I mean, it could happen. It could happen. All right. No, we need to let Fani Cash Money Willis buy the shirts. Okay. All right. I got you. No factions. See, I told y'all. I told you April's gonna have an excuse. I told you. I knew it. I know April. All right. The Standard of Truth podcast. I agree women in Atlanta will not hold her accountable because majority are the reason she's in office and see no wrong in what she's done. Women got to take accountability. Come on, Shamika. Oh, man. Show that accountability. Absolutely. You know what? I got another super chat. I got to say thank you so much, Ramblin' Roy. Gave me that super sticker. Appreciate you, brother. Grace and peace. Thank you so much. All right. I don't know why it reads out the super stickers. That is so weird. But hey, I appreciate you blessing me like that. That means a lot that you all like what we're doing over here. And I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. All right. Let's see who else. What else kind of shenanigans and hijinks we got going on over here? All right, let's see. Y'all stop. Nathan, y'all and Nathan are hilarious. Okay. Oh, now April got friends over here in my chat? Oh, for the love. What in the world is happening here? This is not the place for this kind of shenanigans to be taking place. All right, let's see. Somebody asked if there was a tape. You know, at this point in the game, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we live in a very wicked and deceived world. I don't even think there needed to be any evidence, more evidence, but I'm gonna stand by this. If this goes to appeal, I expect there to be ring cameras, closed circuit television cameras. There's gonna be some cameras that demonstrate and show that Nathan Wade was where he shouldn't have been, doing what he didn't need to be doing with somebody that he shouldn't have been doing it with. I do believe that that's going to show up. So there's going to be new evidence besides, I think the young lady's name was Yeager. There was an attorney named Aurora. They were looking at, because they're going to subpoena those phones then and be able to pull out and see what they were actually texting about. And it's going to be game on from there. It's going to be a mess. Oh, that's going to be a mess. I don't know the process of it, but I will not be surprised that we get like just all kinds of new evidence. Because remember, we never saw bank evidence. We never saw bank records. And Nathan literally said, like, she would pay me the cash and I would spend it. But he used his business credit card to buy said things. There's going to be a lot of problems that come out of there. Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. Atlanta women watch too much Atlanta Housewives. Yo, I was like literally last week old when I realized that they didn't have to be real housewives to be on these shows. I didn't realize that. Like, that's crazy, man. Those shows are just Those shows are a blight on society, for real. All right, what we got here? Just rolling through. Some of us still remember the first interview where you introduced April to us some 3 years ago. That's right. And there's no way in the world I'm gonna kick her off. You're right. Man, Susie, it has been a while. That's right. Yeah, I'm not gonna fire April. Absolutely not. We gotta keep her around. Because she gotta give me that shirt. See how I did that? See what I did there? Let me remind you. Make sure you give me my shirt, April. And I'm gonna be over here eating all this crow. Please don't do me wrong. Throw Fani under the bus some way. Don't make me buy them shirts. Come on. I don't think so. D said, are any of them actually married? I don't think so. I do not think they're married. I don't think so at all. I was just realized, like, wait, somebody told me that. I was like, wait, so they could be on the Real Housewives of a show and they're not actually Real Housewives? Man, what in the world? What is this? All right. All right, let's see. The judge didn't care about any of the evidence. He should be reprimanded. I agree, but I mean, I feel like he made it. I know this sounds weird. I don't think that he's going to be reprimanded for it, but I do think that he made the wrong decision. And I think he made the case for why he was making the wrong decision. I don't agree with that decision. That being said, still, it's going to be on the people of Fulton County. I don't think he's going to win his election, but maybe will. But I don't think he will. And I think that'll be the best way to deal with Judge McAfee. Now, as it relates to Fani, man, how serendipitous would it be if she got removed, if she got voted out? That would be amazing if she got voted out and then she's got to deal with all her issues and not be the DA. That would be wild. So, and she would still be able to practice law. So, I mean, that's interesting. And I don't know what the process is for disbarment. Is there a time period? You have to be done in so long, so quickly, whatever like that. So I do think it is going to be a story to behold for sure. I don't even know what this is, but person said, I watched Little Women of LA and learned that Little Women are just as sinful as tall women. I don't even want to know what that is. I don't even want to know. So I'm just going to pretend like I don't even want to know. Yeah, like I didn't know that. I did not know that, Neva. I really thought they were really people's wives. Like the Basketball Wives and all that show. I was like, oh, those must be wives. Nope, they're not. That's crazy. All right, don't forget to. Lynn and April. Lynn is team April for sure. Let me tell you. I love it. I love it. All right, good people. What we got here? Lots of good family reunion. Lots of conversation pertaining to. Yeah, thank you so much, Violet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help me out. Help me out. I really do appreciate y'all. You all are rock stars. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Jason. I like to give cultural commentary from a Christian perspective. I've started this channel out talking about critical race theory, social justice, and Black Lives Matters. And since I've kind of veered into talking about politics and law, simply because it's just very interesting to me. I find it really interesting. And I like talking about things that I'm interested in. And because of that, this is why we're here. One of the things that I really want people to get is that, one, I'm a pre-K law student. I don't know what I'm talking about at all. So I like to hear from other people what they are talking about, what they understand about that. So here in this space, you'll see me refer to much smarter people like the lead attorney. Shout out to Lead. and Nate the Lawyer and Viva Fry and Nez Nation and those other gentlemen like that, and ladies as well, that know about law, that know about the how these things are played out. And at the end of the day, hopefully we'll all get a little bit smarter. But at the end of the day, above all of that, I want people to realize and understand that we don't have to worry, fear, or doubt or question when Jesus Christ is still ruling and reigning over the affairs of men. So whoever is our president, whoever goes to jail, whoever is being prosecuted or getting RICO charges, it doesn't matter. Christ still reigns and rules over the affairs of men. And so I really want at the end, as we kind of wrap this up and close this up, I really want people to be at peace about that. Like, you know what? It's all good when it's all said and done. I don't have to worry, fear, or doubt if 45 gets back in or if Biden gets back in. It doesn't matter because Christ still rules and reigns. So at the end of the day, as long as I know who's ruling and reigning, all the other people are just ancillary. They're just people that are moving around doing what they're doing, but Christ still rules and Christ still reigns. And at the end of the day, I just want to have fun. So I enjoy conversating with you all, having good conversation. Man, the live chat is really all I love coming here for the live chat, to hear what you all are talking about, to see the conversations that you all are stirring up, and to hear just how many people also are not wringing their hands and woe is me and the sky is falling and such like that, but rather just like, hey, you know what? We can have a good conversation about this. We can learn. We can be edified and built up and kind of, and sure, we got things that we want to happen. Sure, absolutely. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, nothing was changed because Christ still reigns. So it doesn't matter who wins in November because our king is never up for election. He will never be deposed. He will never be subpoenaed. He'll never have to worry about RICO charges on God. Okay, never have to worry about that. So with that being the case, I'm enjoying that. I'm excited to do this with you all. Usually on Sundays, I do what's called the weekend wrap, the weekend woke, kind of talking about what I discussed the week prior and what's going to happen this week. So this week, because we have absolutely no idea what's going to be coming out of Fulton County, anything could happen, okay? Anything could happen. This week, I do plan to go over the resignation letter of Nathan, the acceptance letter of Fani Willis and the DA's office, and just have some good conversation about that. Lord willing, I'll be able to bring in some guests. I would love to have some other people, definitely smarter people than me, come in and answer your questions because you all ask some top tier questions. And I want to make sure those questions get answered because there's a lot of things that we don't know that we're all kind of learning and kind of navigating through. So at the end of the day, I would love for us to be able to get those questions answered. So I will make sure as best as I can that I let you all know when I'm going to be dropping new videos and so on and so forth, or when I'm going live again so that you all can jump on and ask questions, and hopefully we'll have some good questions like that. I will be doing some more projects with my members. So thank you so much for those who became members. I saw a few people gifting memberships. How great is that? Sharing the love. I really do appreciate it. So I'll be doing some projects with you all. If you want to see the disbarment document, it is on my Buy Me a Coffee page. So you can just go there. And I think if my moderators will just add that in there just one more time so everybody can see it. I think I have it here on my screen as well. Matter of fact, let me show you. Let me just show you real quick. So this is my Buy Me a Coffee page. And here it is right here. You can just click on the link and it just gives you all of those documents. I just put them in a Google document for you. They're free of charge. Just click on it and you're welcome to us. I'll just give you that as well. So I appreciate y'all. I will be talking about Tiffany Henyard up in Dalton, Illinois. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on like that. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in politics and weird stuff happening with leaders and such like that. So I will be talking about that, but I will tomorrow or Tuesday, we'll be looking at the resignation letter and acceptance letter, hearing your thoughts and feedback. But I promise you, if something else pops off out of Fulton County, we'll be talking about it for sure. So everybody, I want to say this one more time. This is the absolute best live chat in the universe. Catch me outside if you got a problem with what I just said. If you have a problem with that, of course, you can always email management, dearwokec@gmail.com. What was the question? You can buy me a coffee. That's a great way to support the channel. You can buy me a super chat. Either way, California Human, I really appreciate it anyway. I appreciate you all showing the love that you all appreciate what I'm doing over here. Okay, the Tiffany Henyard story is so crazy. If you're not familiar with that Tiffany Henyard story, it is so cuckoo bananas. I'm going to talk about it, Rambling Roy, because I feel like I'm rambling. But that story right there has got to be one of the highest examples of political corruption in our modern day. And I'm saying that even on the heels of the 2020 election, even on the heels of all the shenanigans and chicanery that happened during the C-19 event, all of that. I think Tiffany Henyard is even worse than all of those. She just wasn't global. That's the only thing that makes her different. She's confined to that South Chicago land area. But besides that, wait till we go over that story. So yes, Ramblin' Roy, where you at? Right here, Ramblin' Roy. We will be talking about Tiffany Henyard for sure, because it's such a wild story, man. That story is bananas. Matter of fact, we might do that Monday or Tuesday. So just to give you like a primer, because it is wild. I think it's wilder than Fani. Absolutely. Oh, hands down wilder than Fani. I think the only reason that Fani is so much is bigger, if you will, and I'm using the word bigger very loosely, is because of who it is that's involved. That's the only thing. If it wasn't involved in 45, I don't think many people would even care about the story. I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't involving Trump, I don't think that anybody would really care about the Fani Willis story to the degree that they do. But what Tiffany Henyard is doing up in Dalton is amazing. Like, yo, how are you getting away with this? It is crazy. So yeah, we'll be doing that now. Yeah, we're gonna do that soon because I think we should talk about that because that's just a fun, like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah, she's a dangerous narcissist. And this is somebody from Australia. Peace Baby is in Australia and knows about Tiffany Henyard. I expect somebody to know about Fani Willis because, I mean, that's you can't go 2 steps without hearing about it. But to hear about Tiffany Henyard in Australia is a big deal. Like, that's a bigger deal, in my opinion. So, whoo, y'all, thank you so much, man. I was starting off by saying, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the best chat on the planet. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you take your time to hang out with me and conversate. Shout out to all the content creators that rolled through, from Richard to April, K-Dub, and of course Caldwell. Lead attorney stopped through. Man, what in the world? Who does that? But I thank each and every one of you because you all make this thing fun. If I didn't have you all here, I'd be sitting here talking loud in my side office and people will be looking at me crazy. My kids keep talking about me. But I'm glad to have you all. So thank you so very much. I'm glad that you find good quality in this, find value in this. And if you could, let me know what you think. Let me know down in the comment section. Feel free to drop some comments. Let me know what you think. We'll be doing this again, Lord willing, tomorrow. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And until then, everybody, thank you so much. Grace and peace. Take care. Good night.